Woo! Happy Friday to those who celebrate. Happy Bar Cart Friday to all. Woo! Brought to you by Keg and Bottle, 10 locations around San Diego. Tony Kanja, who has been working on this Bar Cart Friday since Wednesday, is bringing in Sespe Creek Distilling. They have a bunch of bottles of booze. We're going to try a rum. We're going to try a smoked bourbon. We're going to try a vodka. We're going to have mixed drinks. We're going to have a bunch of guests in studio. A couple of them joining us remotely. This is going to be one of those Bar Cart Fridays. It's going to be a lot of fun, gentlemen.
It's going to get haywire quickly.
Yeah, you're damn right. And we have a meeting with the entire San Diego cluster immediately following our show.
It's going to be great. Everything's fine.
TD's going to have like an hour to go from not being able to feel his face to being, I'm Travis Dale, and I would like to be sponsored by...
It was only Moonshine Day. I couldn't feel my face. It was fun.
What's the store you really like? Is it Bass Pro Shop? Is that the name of it?
Yeah.
Yeah, you love that place.
Yeah, is that bad?
Sponsor Travis Dale.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Listen, man.
Can you imagine?
Listen, man.
So inside baseball here for a second, but like imagine like all of your company coming together for a really important, I don't know, quarterly meeting.
Right.
That's what we're walking into at 10:15.
Oh my God. What if this is the day they fire us?
It could be. Well, that honestly, that could be every day.
Yeah, exactly.
With cause.
Speaking of Bass Pro Shops, went into the kitchen, opened up the freezer. I noticed our fish was gone.
Oh, yeah.
And I was really hoping that somebody had found it and went, why is there a full frozen fish?
Well, somebody did, and it was me, because we played What's in the Box months ago now, and you had brought in a full-on frozen fish with teeth and eyes and everything, and it was in the box for hours, and it started to smell, like fish while it was in this studio.
Well, we tore the packaging open. It was me.
I ended up saying, well, I don't want to let this, it's still frozen. I don't want to let it go to waste. I'll bring it home and cook it, because my 8-year-old's a savage. He would think it was really cool. So I put it in the freezer at work here and immediately forgot about it. Well, I refound it. The freezer stunk. And so I was thinking, maybe I'll leave it out. Maybe somebody will want it. And then a better thought came over. I just dumped it. But yeah, so I took care of the fish. I wish I had it in retrospect. I wish I had done something with it, something cool.
Poor little
Just put a note on it. Free fish.
Yeah, a little tilapia for you. All right. So busy day coming up for us. Jared Smith going to join the show as well, as he always does on Friday, to update our NFL betting ideas and ideals for the weekend. But we had Thursday Night Football last night. Steelers are now a 5-3 football team. The Steelers who have Kenny Pickett with broken ribs starting for them. The Steelers who didn't really look like a team on paper that was going to really wow you, and then early in the season did not. In fact, chants of fire Matt Canada, their offensive coordinator, have been raining down through the majority of the season at Heinz Field.
They looked like a high school team when they faced the 49ers in week 1.
But somehow
that happens when you face the Niners.
They're 5-3.
Unless it's the last 3 weeks.
Dude, it's Mike Tomlin, right? He's one of the best head coaches in the NFL for a reason, and this is one of them. Now, Matt Canada being on the sideline last night, I think it's worth having a discussion about that. So, who the hell's the broad? Al Michaels was talking about the fact that Matt Canada, from his college days to his NFL days, every time he's called plays for an offense, he's been from up in the booth. Well, it sounds like Mike Tomlin had a little conversation with him to say, no, dude, you're on the sideline this game. We got to change something. We got to figure something out. Well, Pittsburgh's offense looked pretty serviceable last night, if you ask me. And I'll ask you, Rich, as someone on the field, when you had an offensive coordinator on the field versus up in the booth, did that make a difference at all in any way, shape, or form to how guys played?
Well, nah, I don't think necessarily I ever noticed a difference.
So maybe as an offensive lineman, but as a quarterback, being able to sit down next to the dude who's calling the plays when you're not on the field and being able to have a conversation with him instead of just listening to him through an earpiece, does that make a difference?
Okay, your access to an offensive coordinator doesn't really change, but there is a difference between having a warm body sitting next to you and like looking at the iPad with you and pointing at things with you, because look, human nature is this. When something is directly in front of you, it takes precedent. whether it's the most important thing or not. Like, have you guys ever had that situation where you're like rushing to get somewhere, and because I don't know, like all of a sudden you saw your coffee cup by the front door, you're like, well, I better make a quick cup of coffee before I leave. And it's like you don't have 30 seconds to spare, but all of a sudden your brain, because it's just right there in front of you, you're like, well, I got to do this.
Squeeze this in.
Yeah, I'll squeeze this in. So that's I could see being a benefit for a quarterback, especially a young quarterback like Kenny Pickett, who's only in his second year starting and has done some really nice things for the Steelers. He's done some bad stuff too. He looks young at times, but to have a presence on the sideline who's committed to him, yeah, I think it did make a difference, at least for the Steelers last night. So again, to the point you made to start this, Fletch, Mike Tomlin's a Hall of Fame coach for a reason, because he can see angles on things that maybe even a coach of Matt Canada's prowess. He's been doing this a long time. Maybe he himself didn't see, like, yeah, I guess maybe my spot is on the sideline.
Yeah, and the Steelers offense, I wouldn't say looked great. There's moments of, oh, that's pretty good. But then there's a lot of moments of it's lackluster. However, if they can put up 20 points a game, the Steelers sure do lean on that defense and go, the opponent's not going to get more than 20. And that's what they've been doing game after game after game. The Steelers defense is on fire. I mean, they're
have
legit.
a dude like TJ Watt who just wrecks games and can be a one-person wrecking ball. Did you guys see last night when he's coming off the edge and he ends up getting the sack, but in the middle of it, there was a face mask and his helmet got torn off, and he still completed the sack.
Yes.
And then stood up like an absolute savage. Like, movement. There was movement.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, I don't know. I love that. That's what I love about football, is seeing that sort of a thing. That was cool.
Yeah, no, TJ Watt's a man. That the Pittsburgh defensive line in general, Cam Hayward, that front seven, they've always got good linebackers, and frankly, they always have good skill position players around the offense, which is an oddity. This year, it doesn't feel that way. You kind of look at the Pittsburgh Steelers and they don't really have that one dangerous weapon, whether it's out of the backfield or as a receiver, where you're like, oh yeah, well, he's just unguardable. Like,
they want George Pickens to be that guy. He just hasn't been yet. I think he has the intangibles to be that person. He just hasn't been yet.
And George Pickens gets a touchdown. What was it?
Deontay Johnson got the touchdown.
No, that was called back because he didn't get 2 feet down.
Oh yeah. No, it was down the sideline, but it was a big play.
Yeah, so it wasn't a touchdown, down the sideline. But to me, that just looked like you gotta remember, man. You just gotta remember, because he had plenty of time to get a second foot down, and he just stepped out.
So a stat coming out of last night, and don't look at the TV because it's up on the TV right now. Pittsburgh outgained by 790 yards so far this season. So they do win last night, but that's a wild stat to have. That is the second worst in the NFL. No, don't look at the TV.
Oh, go ahead.
That is the second worst in the NFL by only who?
I already know this.
I didn't look.
I already know this.
Outgained?
They've been outgained by 790 yards this season.
It's got to be hit the Denver Broncos.
The Denver Broncos.
Because I was going to say, if you get 70 points hung on you, I mean, then obviously, I'm thinking like, oh, that's a good question. I'm like, is it the Seahawks? No, their defense. No, of course it's the Denver Broncos.
Then another thing to give Mike Tomlin his flowers. They have 7 wins since the start of last season when scoring 20 points or fewer, which that's by far and away the best in the NFL.
Just so crazy.
Generally, the winning score you want to be is at 28 or higher.
20 points or fewer in today's NFL is nothing.
Nothing.
Right? 20 points could be a quarter for some teams. In fact, it really kind of was the first quarter for the Chargers on Sunday Night Football last week, and we're all just like, well, okay, this game's over. Damn. It's just, that's how offenses go. Now, Matt Canada, he didn't hear the chants for his firing last night because it was a good game. It was a game where people were involved, and partially the reason when you start to look over at the other sideline and take your focus away from Pittsburgh is the fact that Will Levis can ball. Will Levis, what we saw in the 4-touchdown game, obviously didn't repeat that level of success in this game. He can play football at this level. Now, he was under duress. He was under pressure the whole night.
Yep.
I think he handled that well. He looked confident. He looked like a player who's more veteran than his days in the NFL would tell you.
Well, so when we were making our picks yesterday, we had said, oh, well, Will Levis is going to have some yards on the ground here because he's going to be chased around everywhere. That guy stood there and took it.
Yeah.
I mean, he was making throws, some of them not complete, but making throws and just getting hammered. I mean, play after play after play. Will Levis looks legit.
He does. He's got a big arm. He can make every throw out there. And, he has some poise.
With hindsight being 2020, I got to imagine a lot of teams who Will Levis was projected to be a first rounder, but a lot of teams who were in that first round and passed on him, I have to be thinking like, damn, maybe we should have taken him, especially when you look at how some of the rookie quarterbacks have performed this year. Like we've had some special performances, we've had some duds, but like Will Levis all of a sudden looks like maybe he should have been a first rounder.
But hang on. So yes, you're right. But I always remind people that fit is everything. Like if Will Levis is thrust into a situation like, I don't know, CJ Stroud in Houston, does it look as good as CJ Stroud? How about if he's the first overall pick and he's in Carolina, is he struggling like Bryce Young? I would say so. I think he landed in a really good spot, and here's why. Mike Vrabel does not get enough credit as a great head coach, but his players absolutely love playing for him. Like he's one of the guys. He's an ultimate players coach. He's done a lot of winning in this league. He's been in the same place for a long time. I mean, think about how long Mike Vrabel has been the head coach of the Tennessee Titans. He's on his way to being one of the longest tenured coaches with that franchise. And he's won a lot of football games. Now, recently it's slumped, obviously, with the injuries to Derrick Henry, and it's a little bit of a one-note offense, but it was a very effective one-note offense for a while there. Ryan Tannehill's recent injuries too. But Will Levis lands himself into a very stable culture, and they've got playmakers. I mean, DeAndre Hopkins, he can play. Out of that backfield, Derrick Henry may be in the waning years of his career, but it looks like you have a budding star in Tajay Spears behind him. So if Will Levis can catch up, if he gets more reps, and I sort of feel like after last night's game,
he's the starter.
Well,
how could he not be?
They're just hoping that ankle takes one more week for Ryan Tannehill, so they can just one more week. Hey, Ryan, are you sure you're okay?
And is Tennessee like, damn it, we should have picked up the phone a little more aggressively with Minnesota when they wanted Ryan Tannehill? Are they thinking, oh man, we probably should have traded him?
There's a couple of shoulda, coulda, wouldas out there,
right?
But
That's
you also don't want to lose on a trade also where teams know that they can have one over on you. I mean, I don't know if that's necessarily the way you want to look at it, but
it's a different culture than it is in baseball or basketball, where stars get traded on every deadline in baseball and basketball. In the NFL, you rarely see a star quarterback move.
And also, you got to remember what players mean to locker rooms. So imagine if and I imagine this is the case, that Ryan Tannehill has a contingent of very good friends in that locker room. He's been a great leader for this team. And all of a sudden they let him go for something like a third or fourth rounder. Like
lots of WTFs in that locker room.
Yeah, people are going to be like, are you kidding me? Like, what, our season's over? Like that to me that's what it signals to a franchise or to the players in a franchise. And Vrabel would get in front of the team and say whatever he's going to say next. Hey, look, we have all the faith in the world in Will Levis. We know what Ryan meant to all of you guys, but we're going to pour it into him. We're going to prop him up. We're going to get him what he needs to be successful here and blah, 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 ready, break. But the truth is, people will still walk away from that conversation being like, how could you let him go for that little in exchange?
I find it funny how little things can change conversations. Like last night, it ended up being, was it a 4-point game? Was it 2016?
20-16. Yep.
Okay, so that's the final score last night. Now, Will Levis and the Titans did have a chance to win the game. They had a last 2-minute drive where something could have happened. The conversation this morning is so epically different. If the Titans go on a game-winning touchdown drive right there, all of a sudden, we're going to be crowning Will Levis a little bit more. All of a sudden, maybe we're not opening up with Mike Tomlin. Maybe we are opening up with how does Matt Canada's offense not get more than 20 points in a game?
100%. Look, narratives shift with moments. Like that moment last night. And frankly, Will Levis, he threw 2 picks on that drive.
Yeah, it was bad.
Yeah, right. He threw 2 interceptions. He tried to throw a pick on the play prior to the final play.
Correct.
For the Titans offense. And then he did. But yeah, to your point, if the Titans win, I mean, TD, you're jumping out of your chair going, we've got our next great quarterback in the NFL.
Oh,
I mean,
yeah.
That's what I'd be doing.
Yeah, without a doubt. Yeah.
They never lose again.
And by the way, yesterday, when I said, why isn't this game being flexed? And you said, I think it's going to be a good game. Man, you were spot on. That was a fun game. And it was kind of like watching the same team play each other. Yeah.
It's the Spider-Man
like
meme.
Matched up.
Wait, you're here too?
That was basically it. Najee Harris, by the way, didn't look that bad yesterday.
Yeah, our underdog picks were all dead wrong.
Right.
Dude. Yeah.
Right.
We were all like, unders, it's cold. No offense can possibly play in 32-degree weather. And then they played. Now, again, it's a little bend but don't break. Like you said, the Steelers get outgained in a lot of games they played in. And a lot of that had to do with their opener against San Francisco, admittedly. But the reality is, between the 20s, they'll give you a ton of yards. They get really stingy once you get to the fringe range. Once you're in field goal distance, 30-yard in, it's really tough to play against the Steelers.
And they were doing all that without Minkah Fitzpatrick, who's an absolute stud in the secondary defensively. So the Steelers have a legit defense. The Titans have a legit defense. Like I really enjoyed watching that game because it felt a little more old school NFL than it did this new flashy craziness NFL.
Okay.
Whose halftime is it?
I believe it's mine. I have no idea.
It says Rich.
Okay.
I put that
Yeah,
in there.
yeah.
I should know.
And you know what? That's fine.
Yeah.
guys. Coming up on the show, though, we got a pair of tickets to Lainey Wilson. She's playing North Island Credit Union Amphitheater this upcoming summer. Get over to livenation.com for tickets and info, or keep listening for your chance to win. Also, a 4-pack of tickets to Snow Jam Del Mar Fairgrounds. That's coming up on November 10th through the 12th. You can get all your skiing and your snowboarding gear there. We got a 4-pack of tickets for that.
Love that money.
Pair of tickets to go see the Aztecs take on the Aggies this weekend, Saturday night, kickoff 4 p.m. Over at Snapdragon Stadium. You can get tickets and info at goaztecs.com, but we'll have a pair for you. Yeah, real quick, we didn't hit on it during our conversation, but one of the storylines emerging from the game last night, Treylon Burks, a receiver for the Tennessee Titans, sideline attempt on a reception, goes down, hits the back of his head on the turf, had to be carted off the field, was given the thumbs up as he was being carted up. I'm sure there's going to be more updates today on his health, but always, my thoughts always go to the family during those situations. Like, what is his sister or his mom or his brother, his uncle, his grandfather thinking as he's going through that? It's really rough.
Yeah, that was a very, very scary moment. And again, looks like a normal catch or non-catch and falls to the ground. And I mean, watching it live, I had no idea what happened.
Yeah. And then you see the instant replay. You're like, okay,
so it's it.
Ragdolled him.
I wonder when helmets are going to get better at like protecting against the ground.
It's so tough, man. Technology has improved. I mean, these helmets are so different from even the ones I was playing in less than 10 years ago. But I mean, you're talking about car accidents. You're talking about how safe is it to be in a 35-mile-per-hour car accident still? That's basically what these players are undergoing every time they get hit. So I don't know if you can really make it all that much safer.
It just seems like the ground ones are more prevalent this season. And maybe that's just because I'm noticing it more after Tua last year. But I don't, it seems like the ground is almost causing more concussions this year than anything else.
It's always been a problem, but I do agree with you. I think the helmet-to-helmet hits are lessened because the rules can prevent those.
Yeah.
You know, so the defenseless receiver or ball carrier in any fashion, the crackback blocks, they're gone. Like a lot of the big hit moments that we used to go, ooh, and then it would leave someone unconscious on the field. Like those have been dissipating. Whereas the things you can't really get rid of, I guess, to put it rudimentarily, it's like when somebody's being tackled to the ground, their head, the side of their head or the back of their head hits the ground. So
that one was bad last night.
That one sucked.
That's the one that gives you kind of that tight chest feeling.
So also news coming out of college football, not just the NFL last night. So this from Purdue head coach Ryan Walters, whose team visited number 3 Michigan this past week. And he said his school is evidence that the Wolverines scouted the Boilermakers games earlier this season. So the NCAA obviously is investigating Michigan for its off-campus scouting and sign stealing syndicate, all encircled around Connor Stallions, who has, as recently as this week, I believe, been suspended by the school with pay pending the outcome of the investigation.
That just means you're being suspended because of something we told you to do, so we're still going to pay you.
Precisely.
Yeah.
Because you have a lot of dirt on us, and we're hoping that you don't tell anybody.
I love it when sports stories get into like crime words. Like you just use the word syndicate for a sign stealing syndicate, like as if this was some big drug scandal. The more and more I hear about this story, the more and more I think, oh, people just hate Jim Harbaugh.
Well, actually, to your point.
I mean, I would say that's legit. I mean, look, I know this is frowned upon, but is there a rule that says you cannot steal someone's sign?
I'm so like teams send scouts places.
Right.
This is where my
week.
confusion lies.
Right. I personally don't know. I don't know exactly what the verbiage says in the bylaws of the NCAA when it comes to competition revolving around sign stealing. I know this, if you are doing something on the sideline during a game, like hand signals or holding up banners like some teams do to signal
That's
to
fair game, dude.
Right. I mean, it's like that's in public
And I want to
view.
know, what is Connor Stallions getting that you can't get from a TV broadcast or from an all 22 broadcast?
Yeah, or just showing up in the fans, in the audience of a game with a cell phone.
Right.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because we all are the media now. Like, I mean, you see it on World Star all the time. If there's a fight in the drive-through line at McDonald's,
World Star.
we get to see it. We get to see it because it's our God-given right, freedom of the press.
And it's weird who's attacking Michigan, right? It's all the coaches.
Yes. So that to Travis's
Which all
point,
these coaches are also guilty of this.
TD, you nailed it. So I don't know. This feels weird. It feels different. It feels like everybody just hates Jim Harbaugh. Well, you're damn right they do, because on a conference call with the coaches in the Big Ten, where I do believe Jim Harbaugh was not a part of, the ADs,
They didn't send him the email, the Evite.
the ADs, the athletic directors, and the head coaches were all like, he's got to go. Like, basically, that's essentially what came out of this. And so they're putting pressure on the new commissioner of the Big Ten to sanction the Michigan football program. Meanwhile, it's like, that's not what happens. Have we ever really heard of a conference
Never.
levying punishment? No, it's always the NCAA. Now, don't get me wrong. I think it's a bad look when things take a really long time with certain situations, and maybe the NCAA deputizes the conference to make a decision earlier because the NCAA is still gathering facts. But in this situation where things are a little fluid, it's like, did they really break rules? Like, how bad was this? Like, you got to give it a little time to incubate. And these coaches are like, get them out.
Like,
Get
I want to
'em
know
out.
Wow.
if the other coaches are just like upset at maybe some dirty recruiting practices that Harbaugh does, if Harbaugh hits on their wife. Like, I want to know why, because this can't be the reason. The reason that we're getting from the media, from Pete Thamel, who's been like the lead reporter on all this, I don't buy that that's the only reason all these coaches are going after Jim Harbaugh. There has to be something else.
WagerWire did a poll on what should happen, what the Big Ten should do to Harbaugh. Fine him, disqualification, or disqualification and wins vacated. Nearly 57% of the people said disqualify and wins vacated. Everyone hates this guy.
So I found the article I was referring to. Listen to the opening paragraph here. This is so funny. Just picture this Zoom call, right? A vast majority of the Big Ten coaches expressed their frustrations with the ongoing sign stealing investigation in Michigan in a video call with Commissioner Tony Petitti on Wednesday. The call took 90 minutes, including nearly an hour without Michigan coach Jim Harbaugh, who hung up after the regularly scheduled Big Ten business to allow the conference coaches to speak about the NCAA's investigation into Michigan. So basically, they were like, all right, listen, guys, our potluck lunch is going to be next Friday. And Jim, if you could hop off the call, we're just going to have a little chit chat amongst ourselves.
Some things to discuss.
Totally not about you.
Yeah. We
You're like,
just,
all right, I'm going to go iron my khakis. I'll catch you guys later. All right. Love you.
This is
Love you.
bizarre, dude. It's so
This is-
bizarre.
This honestly feels like we're taking our ball and going home. That's what it feels like
If
to
I'm
me.
Jim Harbaugh, I'm like, screw you guys. I'm rich. I'll go be in the NFL or I'll retire.
Or go, yeah,
is
you know
crazy.
what? Go ahead and continue with this, and I'm going to sue the absolute bejesus out of you because you can't do this, and I didn't do anything that was against the rules. Now, however, if all of a sudden there is something in the rule book that says you're not allowed to steal signs, which I don't know how that would be because you're just making signs out in the open. I mean, Harbaugh figured out the system here,
Yeah.
and people are pissed about it.
It's like, okay, yeah, I get it. You know, when you're first, you get the first scoop of ice cream, maybe you get the most toppings, but like you got there first. So I mean, to the victors go the spoils. Like, he figured something out that maybe some of these other coaches didn't figure out, or maybe other coaches thought was going too far, and they realized, oh wait, okay, so he figured it out before the rest of us, and he did it better than all of us. And because Michigan's on top of the Big Ten right now, we just want them out. Yeah, it is a little bit like you described, TD, as
Big
like
time spider. This is MLB. Like this big time MLB vibes with this whole story.
no question. Let me read this last sentence. This is so funny. According to 5 sources familiar with the call, a chorus of voices encouraged Petitti to take action against Michigan. In the call, what was described as both intense and emotional. Like, imagine a coach getting on bill like, and we were in Michigan, and there were videos by 30, and we just couldn't. We
Grown ass man
we were-
probably crying about Jim Harbaugh.
We were on the left, and they knew it, and then we tried to throw a screen.
Rich, who in this room stole your signs?
Jim! He had a yellow M on his blue hat. I saw him.
Also, how do you take anyone seriously with the last name Petitti?
Also true.
Yeah,
Also
yeah,
true.
yeah.
Yeah, that was a
Panini.
big mistake.
Panini, though, that would be really serious.
Delicious sandwich.
Yeah.
No questioning that. Okay, like we said, bevy of tickets coming up to give to you later in the show. Snow Jam, San Diego State Aztecs, Laney Wilson. Coming up next, though. Okay, Ben said it. He's got movement already. It's movement weekend in the NFL. Stay tuned.
It's movement week in the NFL. We'll break it down coming up next.
This update is presented by DraftKings Fantasy Sports. Thursday Night Football. Steelers beat the Titans 20-16 in Pittsburgh. Kenny Pickett connects with Deontay Johnson for a go-ahead touchdown late in the game. Big games coming up this weekend in Week 9. Chiefs Dolphins in Germany, 6:30 a.m. Sunday. Cowboys Eagles in Philly Sunday nighter. We got the Bills taking on the Bengals in Cincy, and Monday night Chargers taking on the Jets in New York. College football, Aztecs coming off their second bye week of the season. They got Utah State at Snapdragon Stadium tomorrow at 4. Pregame coverage gets underway live from Aztec Village starting at 2 o'clock. Tickets and info at goaztecs.com. We got a pair of tickets coming up on the show today. And next Monday, Aztecs basketball. They open up their 2023-2024 season at Viejas Arena, welcoming Fullerton to town. It's banner raising night. Get your tickets at goaztecs.com. We will have a couple pairs for you on Monday. Check out what DraftKings has to offer this season with code SPORTS, because life's more fun when you're in on the action. DraftKings, the crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Age and eligibility restrictions apply. Void where prohibited. See DraftKings.com for details.
Big Rich, TD, and Fletch with you. The TD just pointed out the funniest thing.
Listen, so this morning, I don't know, it was probably 4:30 in the morning. Fletch over here sends us a text and a video of Brock Purdy, and the text. Oh, let me just read what the caption says. I believe
You are such a Niners honk, Ben.
back to his roots, so down to earth. That's all that was written.
You understand, I said this in a joking manner. I wasn't like dead serious about this.
It felt serious.
It felt sincere.
Yeah.
I feel like you looked at Brock sitting atop his $1 million harvester back on the Iowa farm. You're thinking like, yeah, you know what? Just like the rest of us.
Just plowing his 7,200 acres.
I didn't realize.
And had a cameraman inside the harvester.
So
I think there's a ESPN reporter who's spending the bye week with him to do a big write-up.
yeah, that makes sense. Look, Brock Purdy, let's be very honest with each other. What Brock Purdy has done in a very short time is nothing short of magnificent.
Correct.
Like, I don't know how you step into a season the way he did and get a team all the way to the NFC Championship game and make plays along the way that make you go, geez, you know, maybe he is the guy for the 49ers. And then start the season as hot as they did, ran into recent trouble. Obviously, these past 3 games have been a bumpy road for Brock Purdy and this 49ers offense, frankly, with injuries and his poor play. But holy smokes, like in a short sample size, like when you really look at it, the good outshines the bad still.
Oh, yeah.
But now we have our first taste of the bad, and it's very funny. It's just very funny how the world reacts to things, because like everybody's like, well, maybe they missed on Brock.
Told you he sucks.
Yeah, told you so. Like, I'm not ready to do that. Like, I'm a little slow to make up my mind. I'm a little slow to change my mind. If there's anything that I mean, I don't know if it's a positive or a negative, but I'll say no first. If you need an answer immediately, you know what I mean? Like, if you need me to, like, if I'm on a deadline, like, I'd be like, whoa, I mean, sign now, $10,000. It's a great investment. Yeah, let's pump the brakes. But once I make up my mind and I'm in, I'm typically all in, and I'm still all in on Brock Purdy. I don't think what we've seen over 3 weeks can completely negate what we've seen over 16 or so.
No, Brock Purdy's going to be fine. I mean, that's it's fun to poke fun here at the studio because Fletch is such a diehard 49ers fan, but yeah, Brock Purdy, I think, will be just fine. That 49ers team is stacked. He's got so many weapons around him. If he's been nursing an injury, he's going to get back to health. Everything's going to be great. Or
Deeper
it
voice,
could completely implode.
Okay, we have to stop talking about
they're on a
Brock.
bye week. Who cares?
Yeah. Okay, we have to stop talking about the Niners, but we do have to talk about the Kansas City Chiefs, who are hosting the Miami Dolphins at Frankfurt Stadium.
I hate this.
So you're going to wake up at 6:30 in the morning if you want to catch the whole game.
I won't.
And you're going to see Kansas City and Miami and Germany.
I am not a fan at all. I mean, I get what the NFL is doing. I understand you're trying to expand your base here. You're trying to get more eyeballs on every game. But golly, I mean,
You're thinking about this the wrong way. We're getting an additional primetime standalone game, and they fit it in at an inopportune time. Sure, 6:30 in the morning on Sunday. But don't you love just waking up and curling up in bed and turning on the TV in the room with your cup of coffee? That's one of my favorite things we got going in the NFL.
Absolutely do not.
I get sad when there's not a 6:30 game.
You know what? I like it too. I'm with Fletch here.
Thank you,
TD. I mean, and to be perfectly honest, maybe this is leftover from my time playing, because my rookie year I got to go out to England and we played a game against the Buccaneers when I was with the Patriots against the Bucs in Wembley Stadium. And it was insane. It was like, check a box. I'd never been to England, got to tour around.
That's one of the most historic stadiums in the world. People live their whole lives begging to play in Wembley Stadium, not necessarily football, but football. They like that is a lifetime achievement thing.
It was cool. It was very cool. But also, I mean, kind of the tangent effect is like, you wake up to football. It kind of feels cool.
I love it. And
it feels like work to me for some reason.
Okay, well, because you get paid to watch football games, so maybe that's the case. But like, I love the fact that it's a really good game. When we get Titans Jags in the 6:30 window, I'm like, whatever.
No, I'm not
Chiefs Dolphins.
Yeah,
come on.
But here's the thing: I won't. I'm going to wake up. I probably will wake up before the game starts, but I'll forget it's on. Tell you that much. And then I'll be watching some YouTube video and then be like, oh, wait, there's score. Wait, I have someone playing on my fantasy team. What is happening?
Are you the type of person who can fall asleep with the television on?
Yes.
All right, so set it to the channel, leave it on mute, fall asleep, and then when you wake up, you'll be like, oh, the Chiefs are leading by 7 in the third quarter.
It feels like my whole day is off. I just don't like it. I don't like it. I want the time to prepare. I want the build up. I don't know. Give me that game at night. And look, it's the National Football League. National as in American, baby.
Baltimore is hosting the Seahawks. That's in the early slate. Huge game, 6-2 Ravens, 5-2 Seahawks. I mean, you look around that Seahawks offense, a lot of weapons. You look around that Baltimore offense.
Let's go Ravens.
A lot of weapons.
Let's go Ravens.
They're finally healthy. That Baltimore defense playing like Baltimore defense. John Harbaugh on the sideline. His brother's in hot water. You know, he has something to
Everyone
prove.
seems to like John. No one likes Jim.
Right. Well, there's always one in every family.
Yeah.
I almost forget they're brothers.
There's one at every radio station.
Wait, who is it? Who is it? Yes, there is. Who is it in your family, Ben? Between you, Alex, and your sister?
Oh, who's the jerk?
Yeah.
Probably me.
Yeah. we could see
I
that.
don't know. Like my grandpa is having this. His birthday is today. His birthday's today.
Wow,
Happy
happy
birthday,
birthday!
And there's this huge party where the entire family's going, and I'm the only one who's not going.
Well,
So
that's-
maybe it is
yeah,
me.
So you're
Wow.
Like
There
Natalie
you go.
flew in from Michigan. My brother lives like an hour away, so that's easy. But everyone else in the family, extended family, is going. I think I'm the only person missing.
Why aren't
Okay.
you going?
Yeah, you should.
Oh, the party's today, and I got Aztecs tomorrow. Like it's a busy time of year.
Wow, it's a lot of excuses.
Papa?
Basketball on
I
Monday.
mean,
like
How many birthdays are you
a-
gonna have with Pop?
It's just a short few hour drive, and you're there.
no, it's up in like the Bay Area.
It seems
Yeah, it's
like
a short 7-8 hour drive.
10
You're
hour
there.
drive.
But,
just quick turnaround.
Yeah.
At least give him a present and a kiss on the
yeah,
cheek.
exactly. I just wanted to say hi, Grandpa. All right, I got to go back to work.
I don't feel good about it.
Well,
All right, I gotta go back to work.
I got a lot going on.
Anyways, big gulps, huh? See you later. Cowboys heading to Philadelphia in the later slated games. 5-2 Cowboys, 7-1 Eagles.
that one feels like it's going to be a nice game to watch,
That
right?
should be.
Yeah.
It better be.
I got some talking points on that one.
What you got?
Well, so everyone nationally is giving Dak Prescott all this credit for his games
These
against.
are two wildly overrated teams.
No, that's not what I'm saying. But
Okay.
everyone is saying Dak Prescott's been so good against the Eagles in his career. Well, the last 3 games he has been pretty good against the Eagles, but the last 3 games it's been against like Gardner Minshew, Eagles team that was on week 18, so like half their team was already sitting out because they already clinched the number 1 spot. And then the other one was like 2 years ago. I can't remember what the situation was in that one, but the last 3 games, like the Eagles have not been at their Eagles. So
Ye-
like I have the feeling the Eagles are going to come in and roll this game.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, and the Cowboys have been a little hot and cold. Eagles have been trying to figure out how to be the Eagles of yesteryear. So it's going to be which team gets it right.
It's also what the Cowboys do, though. They have a dominant performance, they get their asses kicked. Dominant performance, ass kicked. Well, they were dominant last week. Time to get your ass kicked.
I look at this game as, I mean, neutral field. Like if this was being played in Baltimore somewhere or in San Diego, it would be a pick 'em. It would be a dead even pick 'em because the Eagles to me are a team that's probably better than they've shown, but you are what your record says you are, and that loss was an ugly loss, and the games that they've won. Look, there have been some hairy times for the Eagles. They've survived now the Commanders twice. Like, yes, they're a 7-1 football team, but there have been some problems. Same with the Cowboys. Like, you look at the Cowboys and you say, okay, wow, they beat the Belichick-led Patriots by 1 million, and they beat the Jets and the Giants by 1 million, but they also lost to the Cardinals. Like, so I feel like they're this is like the Spider-Man meme. Like they're looking at each other in the mirror saying,
Oh, I got the Eagles winning by like 15, 20
Really?
points.
Wow.
Yeah.
I wonder what the spread on
I
this
think
game
Eagles
is.
roll this
Well,
one.
let's look.
Yeah.
Meanwhile,
Bet you
just,
the Eagles are favored by 3.
just going back to the Chiefs Dolphins game, which offense is hotter there?
Chiefs or Dolphins? Jeez.
I know.
Dolphins
Um,
offense is hotter, but I would take the Chiefs in this one because the Chiefs have a defense. And the Dolphins, when they play against good defenses, don't have the same success. When they play against teams like the Broncos, they can put up 70 points.
I would stay off this game if I were a betting man. If I had money to spend, I'd spend it elsewhere. Here's what I'll tell you. Whoever's leading this game early is going to win this football game. Because
So-
I just sort of feel like it's going to be one of those front runner days in Germany.
Eagles favored by 3 right now
Oh,
on the road.
there you go.
Chiefs are favored by 1.5 in Germany.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, so neutral site, that is kind of a pick 'em. That's the way it feels. Look, that's the way it feels. Bills, Bengals is a Sunday night football game. Like this Sunday slate of games, you have some of the best and most even competitions because that Bengals Bills games, I mean, I'm guessing that's like maybe the Bills are favored by a point.
Let's see.
Yeah.
Bengals Bills is Sunday night football, 1.5. Bengals favored.
Bengals are favored
Yeah.
on the road.
It's
Yeah.
wild when you see like bye weeks like this one where you have 2 of the better teams, Niners and Lions, both on bye this week. You're thinking, oh, this is a crappy slate of games. This is the best Sunday we've had, and
Oh,
it's
right.
not even close.
Hands down. And you know what that means? There's going to be blowouts
yeah.
all over the place. And
gonna
we're
be
going to
the
come in
worst.
Monday like, hopefully Chargers Jets is good.
We're gonna come in on Monday after the 6:30 a.m. game, and Rich and I are both gonna be like, "TD, you were right. That game sucked. Wish I would have slept in."
You know what? Honestly, we need to go with war with Germany again.
Oh God,
Yeah.
don't joke about that,
Okay,
man.
well, that actually may happen.
We're on the verge.
Yeah, this is very
I
scary.
don't think so. I don't think we're going to war with Germany.
Wait,
Well,
who are we going to war with? I've been meaning to ask somebody who knows things.
We'll
Yeah.
talk about it during the break.
Okay, very
Yeah.
good. Very good. Very good. Okay, speaking of which, actually, this is apropos of nothing, but please Please, please let this happen. We'll explain next.
This could be the best thing to happen to the Las Vegas Raiders in a long, long time, and it needs to happen. We'll explain next.
Big Rich, TD, and Fletch. Okay, lot to give away next hour. We're going to be giving away a bunch of tickets, so just stay tuned if you want to win Lainey Wilson tickets, if you want to win SESU against Utah State tickets, if you want to win Snow Jam tickets. We've got all that coming up in the 7 o'clock hour, so buckle up, Buttercup. What do you got, Travis?
I got a bell. Fletch brought me the bell.
I'm so glad you have that.
I'm not
now.
sure
I regret
why.
it immediately.
Yeah.
So
Take a
glad.
lap.
For the bell?
So this is incredible, okay? Or it's awful. Which side do you fall on it?
Incredible.
Okay,
Please, God, yes.
I'll tell you why it may be awful, but
Incredibly awful.
Marshawn Lynch is actually being discussed seriously as the next head coach of the
Is
Las
he?
Vegas Raiders.
Yes.
No, it's not actually being discussed seriously. That's putting
Well,
it incorrect.
Okay, so an ESPN NFL analyst, Robert Griffin III, who obviously played 8 seasons in the NFL.
He also
Wait,
thinks he could
Heisman
still
winner.
play in the
Wait,
NFL.
is that obvious though? That almost was the most shocking part of this article, where I was like, 8 seasons.
How did he
I'm
say
like,
that?
wait, hold on.
To back up for most of
Yeah.
it. But he goes, all right, hear me out. This is the post he had on X.
Mhm.
He said, Marshawn Lynch should at least get a head coach interview with the Raiders this offseason, lean into the Raider way. Team becomes feared with his style mentality, load up on staff with experience and proven coordinators. Who says no? Well, here's my problem. Counterpoint.
I say no.
I say,
Why?
okay, here's my counterpoint, and then I know where you fall. I know where you fall. Let you two debate. So to TD's point, Marshawn Lynch being a head coach sounds like the coolest thing I've ever heard in my life.
Mhm.
That would obviously be hysterical in so many ways.
Yes.
Jeff Saturday is my counterpoint. Jeff Saturday, who seems like the nicest human being on the planet,
Mhm.
took over as Colts head coach for what, 6 weeks, whatever it was last season. It was a flaming dumpster being pushed off of a cliff.
Not the first game.
Well, he beat
It was against the Raiders.
They needed Marshawn Lynch.
They needed Lynch. Okay, so Travis, defend your side. Ben, you defend yours.
Okay, I don't know what else I need to defend here. Just go back and look at Marshawn Lynch talking to the media or lack thereof, or just the things he said or did. I mean, the guy's a wild card, and I would love to see that out on the sidelines.
No one is denying.
Chaos.
No one is denying that it would be fun. It would be chaotic. He does not deserve to be an NFL head coach. There is about 1,000 to 10,000 people that I would put above him, and that's everybody who's working in NFL systems right now, working their way up the coaching tree.
Okay.
There is
Okay.
lanes you have to go through. And Rich, I was going to use the Jeff Saturday example. Someone that's never coached a segment of football before cannot be elevated to head coach.
I don't
It would be a
understand.
disaster.
I don't understand this. He doesn't deserve to be a head coach, or even Jeff Saturday
He doesn't.
deserve to be.
Neither
Why-
did he.
Okay, what's up? Who has to deserve anything? Why can't
Guys
just
that have worked for years and decades in systems, like working their way up to be a head coach.
Okay. So if I'm the owner of a team or a general manager, I can't look at something and go, or someone and say, I like that.
All right,
I
TD,
like that
You're-
fit.
we talked about this earlier. You're a big fan of Bass Pro Shops. Imagine Mr. Bass
Okay.
comes up to you and is like,
Okay.
"Hey, I like you. You're kind of fun.
Yeah.
We're gonna make you the CEO."
Okay, I'm in.
It would be a disaster. The
Why?
company
Why
would
be a
tank.
disaster?
Well, we
You've
don't-
never had
hang on.
experience being a CEO.
Who cares?
We don't know until we know. Look, Rob Pelinka, general manager of the Los Angeles Lakers, took over after being an agent his entire career as general manager. And people were like, what? You're going to hire a sports agent as a general manager? The Lakers won a championship. Now,
At
granted,
least that's in the same vein.
it was in a bubble, but I mean,
Wait, why isn't it? Marshawn Lynch is an NFL player.
I was about to defend TD as the Bass Pro Shop CEO. Who can be like, he fishes? All right. And when he fishes, he brings home sea bass to us
Mhm.
because we're eating small portions of protein, losing some weight. I had to try to spin it back. Look, here's the deal. Collectively as a show, we've lost 110 plus pounds. Okay. And when I say recently, I mean in 8 weeks. I mean, think about that. We lost like an adult woman in weight.
There are a multitude of people here at iHeart that weigh less than 110 pounds.
Yeah, there are several. Actually, yeah, that's a good point. Like
John Schaefer.
John Schaefer is one of them. I love how I said an adult woman. Damn it. Sorry, John. Look, the point is, he's got those thin bones. He's a vegan. We weren't vegans. What we were overeaters. We were hefty fellas, okay? And with SDFatLoss.com, we were able to lose all that weight, 110 pounds in 8 weeks. I lost 35 plus. Travis is over 30 pounds. Fletch, he's over 40 pounds. We're down a ton of weight. We're looking better than we have in years. Trust us. You actually look at the photos. There's proof of this. You can see my
I saw
jaw
a bad
again.
one yesterday of me, dude. I'll have Kendall send it.
Yeah, Annie took a really naughty picture of me. Not naughty, like I was in my underwear. I was taking a nap, and she took a picture of me. My belly, I looked like I was pregnant before we started SD Fat Loss. Like it was on my side. I'm like, what the hell?
Pregnant with a 35-pound baby.
Yeah, which I've delivered with SDFatLoss.com. No, look, if you are struggling with your weight, we're headlong into the holiday season here. It's time to get it under control. Everybody knows you're going to have a little turkey and gravy at Thanksgiving time. Maybe I'll have a Christmas ham. But you're going to want to keep it under control because it's the time when you can go really far off the rails. And then we have New Year's resolutions and then nothing works, nothing sticks. This is a plan you can follow. It's not punitive. It's just real accountability. Chloe and Wayne with SD Fat Loss, they check in with you. They give you great advice. They help you through the process. We all receive that help from them multiple times, and you can too. So again, SDFatLoss.com. It's where your journey should begin because it's where ours began. And again, as a show, in 2 months' time, we've lost 110 pounds. Okay, coming up next, it is the busiest NFL slate of games we've had so far this season. We'll get back to that. Padres all of a sudden find themselves on the clock. Jared Smith is going to update us with the best bets of the weekend. That's all next.
This update is presented by the Jim Buttrill Real Estate Team. Thursday night football, Steelers beat the Titans 2016 in Pittsburgh last night. We got big games coming up this weekend. Maybe the best week of the NFL we've had so far. Chiefs Dolphins in Germany, 6:30 a.m. on Sunday. Cowboys Eagles in Philly. Sunday nighter Bills Bengals on Monday night. Chargers Jets Ravens and Seahawks in there. Also great weekend in the NFL. College football, Aztecs coming off their second bye week of the season. They got Utah State at Snapdragon Stadium tomorrow at 4. Pre-game coverage gets underway live from Aztec Village starting at 2 o'clock. Tickets and info at goaztecs.com. Of course, Rich Ornberger and Ted Leitner are going to be on the call starting at 4 right here on San Diego Sports 760. Would you like to know what your home would sell for today? Get a simple text message with your home's value by texting your address to 855-600-6000. You'll get no phone call, just a text. Jim Buttrill has the buyers. Simply text your address to 855-600-6000.
Yeah! Woo! Happy Friday to those who celebrate. Happy Bar Car Friday, especially today. We're going to be joined by some incredible people in studio, on the phone. Sespe Creek is bringing in their Warbringer Mesquite Smoke Bourbon, their Silver Grin Vodka, Parlor K Rum. Alfred English, the owner, is going to be in studio with us. Derek Norman, former Charger sales executive. He's going to be joining us. I know he played in the NFL. I think he played for the Chargers.
Yeah.
Derek Norman, we're going to catch up with him on his NFL career and what brought him to the liquor game. And Tony Kanja, as always, is going to be in studio, owner, operator of Keg and Bottle. You see the locations all over San Diego. There's 10 of them. And if you're stocking up for a weekend party or event, head over to Keg and Bottle, grab yourself a bottle of wine, maybe a little vino, something fancy, something classy.
Actually, I wanted to ask the text line about this. 70470, start your message with team. TD and I are going to like a fancy dinner party tonight.
Yeah,
you are.
What is the amount of money you should spend on the bottle of wine that you bring to a fancy dinner
That's a
party?
great question.
Is it
is it
percentage based on like your weekly income?
Oh, speaking of which,
Yep, it's 3 months income, 3 months salary.
it's just like buying an engagement ring.
Correct.
Actually, since I'm not going to be there, would you guys mind letting me chip in? Maybe we could give a group present.
It's not a bad idea.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, like,
Yeah.
but I do think like a nice bottle of wine, something like that.
Should
you
we-
know?
But it's
Hold
$15,
on. Tony, if you're listening,
$25.
if you're listening, we need something real nice to bring to a fancy dinner party. We're all pitching in on this, so something in the $10 to $12 range.
Yeah. So,
Like if I show up with $2 Chuck, I get laughed at.
we're
Well,
thinking-
but I
not-
love
not
$2
if it's a
Chuck.
case,
See,
right?
then you're reaching into the $12 range, TD. That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, we have $12 of $2 wine. That's $24 left. We checked, so you're welcome. You're not gonna have to buy any for a while.
I'll just bring a bag of wine and we could all take turns slapping it.
Are we supposed to dress up for this? Is it that fancy?
Please,
I honestly don't
like,
know.
please.
Tuxedos.
Yes, I
I
want
don't
you
own a
guys.
tuxedo.
Yes, I want you
Let's
guys.
go
to dress
rent
up.
a tuxedo.
That's
Yeah.
a waste of money.
No,
No,
No.
can you imagine? Can you imagine the statement we'll make if we all show up in tuxedos?
I think it's a fabulous idea.
Also, should we rent a limo to drop us off?
Yeah.
One up. A horse and carriage.
Tony just texted done.
He's listening. Oh my God. All right.
A horse and carriage.
You just remind me. We also have tickets to give away.
Yes.
Okay, 4-pack of tickets to Del Mar Fairgrounds. If you win these, you're going to Snow Jam 2023. That's November 10th through the 12th. Again, awesome event, extensive collection of alpine skis, snowboards, boots, bindings, gloves, goggles, everything you're going to need for the winter season over at the Del Mar Fairgrounds. Be listening over the next 5 minutes. We're going to be asking for callers to win those tickets.
By the way, if you win those tickets, you like automatically get 2 pairs of free lift tickets when you get there.
Oh, awesome. Okay, so huge
Wow.
deal for whoever wins
Holy
that
smokes.
4-pack of tickets. Jared Smith is also going to be joining us. He is Fox Sports Radio's betting analyst, covers the NFL, covers college football, baseball, basketball. He's got angles on everything. He's going to be joining us in the it just coming up about 22 minutes away from now. Okay, let's ask some big questions for this NFL weekend. Like, for example, if the Jets beat the Chargers, does Brandon Staley lose his job as head coach?
Now, Dino doesn't fire people in season. Right?
Hang on. We said that about Mark Davis.
Mm-hmm.
And now he's out there. Pew, 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 pew. We don't even know who's left.
Dude, yeah. Nobody's left.
But Dean,
Marshawn Lynch is being discussed as the next head coach.
there's been some pretty crappy seasons of Chargers football where Dean hasn't fired the coach. And I think that while Brandon Staley, I don't think is a very good coach, I think he is a very well-liked person. And I think the Chargers locker room really likes him. And so I don't think he gets fired in season. I don't see any way in hell he is the head coach next year unless there is some serious movement from the Chargers.
I will never say never, but I lean more with Fletch because the reality is I don't think anybody wants to fire Brandon Staley in that building. I think he's got friends in that building. I think he's impressed a lot of people in that building, but results are results. And there's also a lot of people, and I've heard this from people with sources inside the Chargers, that there is a rising level of discontent with Brandon Staley. And it's all to do with his results. Great guy, good leader. People seem to like him, but they're hating the results.
I think it's time probably to start questioning Tom Telesco too. He's been the GM forever, it feels like. And it's like year after year of disappointing results for the Chargers. Like, how many GMs get to just kind of coast through like this?
Well, here's the interesting thing. From a roster standpoint, there's not much negative you could say about Tom Telesco, except for the fact that he'll take some risks on injured players, guys with a checkered injury past. Outside of that, I think he's assembled good enough rosters to go out there and win. The problem is, and I don't know how much say he has in the head coaching. The problem is the head coaches they've hired, like Anthony Lynn, like Brandon Staley, like Mike McCoy, they haven't brought much to the table in terms of the head coaching position. So again, I'm not the biggest fan of what's been going on. I mean, it's possible. Dude, he was in San Diego.
Harbaugh would make sense for the Chargers.
At USD, he turned that program around. Then he went to Stanford, turned that program around. Then went to the Niners, turned that franchise around. Then went to Michigan, got them out of the dumps. Like, Harbaugh's a culture builder. Now, he can outstay his welcome.
He's also going to cost, which we know Dino doesn't like paying coaches.
But yeah, I don't think it happens this weekend. Like, if they lose to the Jets, I could actually see the Jets winning this football game, making it really ugly with Robert Saleh.
Zach Wilson against bad defenses is pretty good. And the Chargers, for having a defensive head coach and all the stars they have on the defensive side of the football, are a bad defense.
It's been better this year,
but
it's been much better this year.
And if Herbert has another week like he had last week, I mean, do the Jets have any chance?
No. Well, I mean, look, if
Breece Hall's a problem. That dude is coming into his own. The Chargers' run defense isn't great.
But think about
Hall is a problem.
But who's driving that car?
Think about Kyle Wilson playing with trailing by 2 scores.
Zach Wilson.
It's not happening. Yeah. I mean, so if they jump out to an early lead, that's what I would suggest is if you're Kellen Moore, whatever you do, make sure your offense scores first, just like you did against the Bears. Give them no life.
Oh, is that a good thing for NFL teams to score first?
Yes, I would suggest score more points.
And then also, end of the game, to your point, TD, more points than your opponent.
Is in the morning somehow.
No. But there's teams who can play comeback football.
Without a doubt.
None of that in the New York Jets.
No.
Like the Chiefs, if they're down 2 scores, Patrick Mahomes is in that football game.
Yeah.
Kyle Wilson? I mean,
or Zach.
I keep calling him Kyle.
He looks like a Kyle.
Did I play? He does look like a Kyle.
He probably should be Kyle. In fact, this is what we're going to do. We're going to put together a petition to actually change his name from Zach to Kyle.
Yesterday on the Herd, Colin was so uncomfortable when J-Mac was talking about Zach Wilson's affinity for banging moms. Colin was not having it, dude. He was like, I don't have a take on this. Jason, what are you talking about?
I'm just talking about him and MILFs. That's all, Colin.
It was so funny. I love it. When Colin's backpedaling, dude, he's at his best.
844-570-1360. Caller number 5 right now is going to win a 4-pack to go to Del Mar Fairgrounds Snow Jam 2023. With that 4-pack, you're going to get lift tickets. Again, November 10th through the 12th. Anybody else who wants to get in on this, seek them out. This is an awesome opportunity to get everything you need for the winter season in terms of snowboarding, skiing, all that stuff. So Snow Jam tickets, 844-570-1360. Call in right now. Caller number 5 gets those tickets. If the Dolphins beat the Chiefs, Is Tua Tagovailoa the best QB in the NFL?
Well, that MVP check mark is still checked, right? Still crossed out there because look, I
have to answer
Okay.
the phone, but no.
wow. Wow.
So who is it though?
Yeah, who is it? Who
Just
is it?
mouth it. Who is it? Josh Allen?
Brock Purdy?
Is it Brock Purdy? Is
Patrick Mahomes is the best quarterback in the NFL.
Okay,
Second would be Joe Burrow.
Okay. And then, wow, Joe Shiesty.
Oh,
Okay.
Oh my gosh.
So Joe Burrow has had a tough start to the season. Patrick Mahomes also had a little bit of a shaky start to the season. Josh Allen, for all the bad that people have been talking about him, is at the top when you look at QB rating.
Yeah.
I'll say this about Tua Tagovailoa. I've been the most impressed with him at quarterback in terms of the MVP conversation. It's his hands down this season so far.
Yeah, I agree. He's been the one that's probably impressed me the most here. However, if I was going to say I need to pick a team, I need to assemble a team, would you choose anyone other than Patrick Mahomes to be the quarterback? Right.
Nope.
I mean, that's the guy.
So best QB in the NFL, Patrick Mahomes.
Right.
I think we're all in consensus.
Right. And
MVP?
MVP's Tua's to lose right now.
Yeah, I agree with that.
I mean, he's putting up numbers. He's shown that he is, well, at least the same quarterback he was at the start of last season. I think those numbers are pretty similar, except he's avoided the injuries this year, and he's avoided the injuries because his offensive line has let him avoid the injuries.
I need to see him for him to even come close to being initiated into the conversation as in terms of best quarterback in the NFL. I need to see him in the postseason.
Right.
I mean, who do we see? Was it Skylar Thompson last year in the postseason
Right.
for the Dolphins?
That's right.
I completely forget. They had like this mixed bag of players coming out at that position because Tua kept banging his head, which, by the way, violent sport, concussions are real. He considered retirement. He came back, play this season. He's playing excellent football. It's great. However, he does need to play a playoff game, at least one, and perform well before he can be in this conversation.
Yeah,
with Mahomes.
and like you were just talking about with Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs, if they get behind a couple scores, you don't have any kind of question of if they're back in this game. That's just it. Patrick Mahomes will find a way to win. And I don't know if there's any other quarterback that does that like Patrick Mahomes does.
We mentioned Burrow. We mentioned Allen in this conversation. So the next big question coming into this weekend in the NFL, if the Bengals beat the Bills, are the Bengals all of a sudden a serious Super Bowl contender?
1,000% yes.
Yeah.
I hands down. I think right now, just looking at the Bengals, even if they lost to the Bills, I still feel like they're getting things right, and there's enough season left to where they could roll through and possibly get to the end here. The Bills, man, Josh Allen has a cannon for an arm.
He does.
And I love his style of play, but there's always questions around Josh Allen to me. There's always the hope he doesn't screw this up kind of feeling always lingering there with Josh Allen. Joe Burrow, I don't really have that.
Did either of you actually think Tua would be the best quarterback in the NFL?
No. So we both agreed that Tua is the MVP this season. I think there's
So
other
far, yeah.
contenders
Because
but,
they also have the coach of the year in Mike McDaniel so far.
well, yeah, I think the Dolphins offense, you can't argue with results, and their results have been better than anybody else's. Best quarterback in the league until proven otherwise is Patrick Mahomes. So I think we're all in consensus there. Tua this season playing better than anyone else, but overall, I need to see Tua in a playoff game is what I was saying to TD.
I also need to see him win a game coming from behind. Like when Tua's been uncomfortable this year, the Dolphins haven't won.
Well, I mean, the Patriots win was big because it was a close game. They were holding Tyreek at bay, and they found a way to escape Foxborough with a win. And I know it's a down year for the Patriots. So
how many times have we seen Mahomes, though, just in the postseason,
Yes.
trailing by 2 or 3 touchdowns, coming back and winning a game?
he's got to play a full season. He's got to play in the postseason. Mahomes is the better quarterback until proven
And by the
otherwise.
way, I was thinking about the MVP conversation because I heard a couple national shows talking about it, and nobody's talking about Tyreek Hill. Now, if he gets over 2,000 yards and he stays on this pace of touchdown scoring, like he has to be in that conversation.
We've moved on to this, though, and I want to get your take on it as well. Bills, Bengals. If the Bengals leave Buffalo with a win, are they a serious Super Bowl contender? Remember,
If the Bengals win in Buffalo,
yeah. Oh no, in excuse me, in Cincinnati.
it's in
if
Cincinnati.
they beat the Bills this weekend, sorry.
I already have the Bengals as a serious Super Bowl contender because, like, Joe Burrow was not healthy the first few weeks of the season. We also know that inexplicably Joe Burrow sucks in week ones throughout his entire career. That's been the case. And he struggled early. he is fully back. Watching what he did to a very good defense with the San Francisco 49ers, Joe Burrow is making a tough case to actually be even up with Patrick Mahomes.
Let me flip it around. TD, if they lose against Buffalo, do you still consider them a serious Super Bowl contender?
Yeah, they still look like a team that is trying to get things right here to me. And we are now going to be halfway through the season. The problem where the Bengals are sitting, they're sitting at last in the AFC North. There's a stack of teams on top of them. But when I'm looking at the Ravens, the Steelers, the Browns, the Bengals are still the best team in that division.
With a healthy Joe Burrow, I agree. Right now, they're 0-2 in that division. They lost to the Browns and Ravens in consecutive weeks to start the season. But big wins. They're on a 3-game winning streak. Cardinals, Seahawks, 49ers. So they've trounced the NFC West. So now they go on to face the Bills and then the Texans. So if they win this game, it feels like they're going to be on a 5-game winning streak heading into a big game, a rematch against the Ravens.
Well, Thursday Night Football last night, the Steelers beat the Titans 20-16. Steelers linebacker TJ Watt picked up a sack without his helmet after losing it on a face mask penalty. Just went completely beast mode. Titans wide receiver Treylon Burks suffered a very scary head injury last night. Mike Vrabel is reporting that Treylon is alert and moving. So
good.
that is good news. Steelers now 5-3 on the season. Titans fall to 3-5. Big difference there between 5-3 and 3-5. Vic Tafur of The Athletic visited the Raiders yesterday after owner Mark Davis went on his pew, 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 pew firing spree. And he described what, and this is in quotes, might have been the happiest locker room he's ever seen. While no one was going to come out and say it, the reason is that the Raiders have a new head coach.
Is Josh McDaniels a jerk?
I don't know Josh very well. I've had limited interactions with him. The interactions I've had with him were not great. So yeah, I mean, Bill Belichick, kind of a jerk, great head coach. I've had a lot of head coaches who are kind of jerks. And, the ones who you respect are the ones you win with. Mm-hmm. And so if you run a tough training camp, which I know he runs in Las Vegas, if you're a hard-nosed coach and you're a no-nonsense guy and you're losing, you lose locker rooms in professional football. And that's exactly what happened in Las Vegas.
Right. And sometimes, being a bit of a jerk is necessary.
Sometimes.
Yeah. I mean, look, this is how we're going to do this. We're not playing games. It's my way or the highway.
So we do have some quotes from the Raiders locker room, from Davante Adams specifically. He says, "Don't get it confused. It's not a celebration that we have a new coach and there's been changes made. We obviously think it was time, one way or another, it was time for some sort of change, just to bring a little juice and revitalize the team a little bit." So I think it's kind of the mindset we're having right now, just trying to have fun and enjoy our time in this building, because I think as we speak to each other, it's been too much of this has just been feeling like work and not having enough fun.
Okay. I will say this, though. Davante Adams, in the same press conference that you read that quote from, I watched the whole thing. He also said that this is nothing against Josh McDaniels, because McDaniels has done a great job with this team. And, so he made sure to
thank McDaniels and Ziegler for trading for him.
Yeah. He balanced it out. He was fair. He gave no criticism to McDaniels, but he did obviously acknowledge the fact that the Raiders season is going in a direction that nobody wants it to go.
I also think Antonio Pierce is really well liked among the players.
Exactly. Yeah. Sometimes you just, and look, Josh McDaniels, for better or worse, is not really going to be a warm and fuzzy guy. He's not going to be one of those rah-rah guys. Antonio Pierce, very much so. If you've heard anything from Antonio Pierce recently leading into this, he's going to motivate the guys. I don't know if he can coach worth a damn, but he's going to motivate the guys. Hey, really quick, like 2 minutes here. Could we just brush over the fact that now we're a day away from a World Series champion being crowned? The Padres are officially on the clock. And this week, I don't think anybody's going to raise any eyebrows that no decisions are made. But next week, the week after, how long is it going to be until the Padres name a manager? Because let's be honest, they probably have earmarked or dog-eared the page in their book where it says the name written that they want. I'm sure they're going to do some due diligence, maybe interviewing some staff members from either side of this World Series run. But at the end of the day, they need to make a decision pretty soon here.
So I need to read a little more on this because I don't want to be the fountain of misinformation that Rich and Travis say that I am frequently.
Mhm.
However,
What stopped you today?
Yeah. Why would you?
so
Why'd you
here's
end the streak?
what I know for a fact. What I know for a fact is that Kevin Acee reported yesterday that they had just interviewed someone else. The search could be coming to an end soon. I also know for a fact that Bruce Bochy's agent spoke yesterday and talked about how much certain members of the Padres organization wanted him and how other certain members never even reached out to him. So without saying any names, I think everyone knows who we might be talking about.
Hmm.
Wow.
The Padres managerial search will most likely be next week. It'll end. I have a feeling, Rich, like you, they probably already know who it is. They're figuring out maybe how to message that to the fan base because it may not be a particularly popular hire.
What's interesting? Oh, go ahead.
No, I
Sorry.
was just saying, do you guys feel like you need to see a manager in place here in the next couple weeks? I
I
don't
do.
have that feeling. I don't have that at all. I'm
What-
like, I mean, if you locked it in, I guess by Christmas, I'd be okay.
I listen. Deadlines make decisions, not people. Like when there is a pressing deadline, then decisions are made. I think just from an optic standpoint, it becomes the deadline. The longer the wait becomes until you name the next manager, the more people are going to discuss it. Now, eventually, you're gonna have to pull the Band-Aid off and say, "Ta-da! It's Ryan Flaherty,"
Yeah.
and everybody's just gonna be like, "Oh shucks."
But in that same look of optics here, you don't want to go too quickly because then it's, oh, well, they already had this guy picked. I mean, this has already been discussed. It's already been chosen. So you have to at least drag it out long enough to where you go, look, we scoured the country looking for the best GM on the planet, and we found him.
Or you mean
with-
manager? Yeah.
Manager, yeah, sorry.
Yeah, I get
It's going to
you.
be Ryan Flaherty. They're going to announce it next week. That's my guess.
Look, this is the other thing that came out, and I'm a Y guy. $50 million loan that the
Mhm.
Padres had to
They
take.
wanted
Wow.
100 million. MLB said 50 is the max you can take.
Okay, so that's another story where it comes out, and I think to myself, like, why? Why is that being reported?
Because they're going to lower salaries next year.
I don't think it was the Padres. I don't think no way it was the Padres. I don't think in any way, shape, or form it was the Padres. The Padres, that's an embarrassment. Are you kidding me? I think these other MLB owners are pissed at Peter Seidler for what he did. They were like, how dare you spend so much money in that tiny little market in San Diego? That's the way the rest of the 29 owners feel about this. And they're like, okay, you want to take out a loan because you're cash poor because the Bally deal fell through? We're going to screw you, and we're going to publicly embarrass you by saying that you came to us like a pauper and said, please, sir, I want some more. I guarantee you that these other owners are pissed at the Padres, pissed at Peter Seidler for going over their heads and spending all this money and embarrassing markets like Pittsburgh and Milwaukee and some of these other smaller markets, Tampa Bay, Oakland, who barely spend. Meanwhile, Peter Seidler has spent a ton. All right, coming up next, we got to get to Jared Smith, our betting analyst, Fox Sports Radio, countdown to kickoff. He'll join us to get our NFL betting weekend all set.
What's the best bet of the week? Well, we're going to talk to betting analyst Jared Smith next.
This update is presented by the Jim Patrol Real Estate Team. Thursday night football last night. Steelers took down the Titans 20-16 in Pittsburgh. Kenny Pickett connecting with Deontay Johnson for a go-ahead touchdown late in the game. Big games coming up this weekend, week 9 of the NFL season. Chiefs, Dolphins in Germany. That's a 6:30 a.m. kickoff. Cowboys, Eagles in Philly. Sunday nighter, we got Bills, Bengals, Cincy in Cincy. And on Monday night, Chargers taking off, flying to the East Coast. They got to match up with the Jets. Would you like to know what your home would sell for today? Get a simple text message with your home's value by texting your address to 855-600-6000. You'll get no phone call, just a text. Jim Patrol has the buyers. Simply text your address to 855-600-6000.
Big Red City and Fletch, San Diego Sports 760. And we still have a pair of Lainey Wilson tickets that we're going to be giving away a little bit later here on the show. You can see her at the North Island Credit Union Amphitheater on August 23rd. Go to livenation.com if you want to buy tickets, or just keep listening for your chance to win. We also have Aztec tickets,
which we're going to be giving away this segment.
Woo.
So be listening in 5 to 7 minutes. We're going to be giving away those San Diego State Aztecs tickets. They're taking on Utah State. Tomorrow night, 4 p.m. kickoff. Our pregame coverage right here on San Diego Sports 760 begins at 2 p.m. Lead you into kickoff with myself and Ted Leitner on the call. Okay, joining us right now, Jared Smith, Fox Sports Radio betting analyst. Countdown to kickoff, host the show with me and Brian.
I poured coffee in my lungs. I'm dying, Jared.
You don't want to do it.
Yeah.
You don't want to do that. Jared, good morning.
Big week.
That's right.
He's choking like Will Levis last night. How could he?
Poor Will.
No, I know.
He played really well. I give him credit. I did not expect him to play that well last 2 weeks.
Yeah, it was really interesting. The confidence that he exudes on the field is, I always try to look at like the eyes and the body language of a rookie QB. And he looks older, just in presence out there. He just looks like he's a veteran already, which is very strange for a guy who's only started 2 games now.
Yeah, and we knocked him. I mean, I remember doing the shows, right before the draft, and the whole Mayo thing, and then he fell in the draft, and going to the Titans, which is not exactly the softest landing spot for a rookie quarterback because of the weapons that they have. But then They got DeAndre Hopkins, and you would expect, some positive things to come from his camp because he wasn't thrust into the starting role right away. He had a chance to kind of sit back and watch Ryan Tannehill do his job, whereas the other starting quarterbacks or the other rookie quarterbacks were kind of, hey, you're the guy, go out there and play. So I'm not surprised that he's looked a little bit more relaxed out there. But I think the level of quality of the throws is really what's impressed me. He has the ability to put the ball anywhere, and he doesn't feel overwhelmed by the moment. And I think that last drive, listen, if he would have stuck that ball in the end zone last night, I mean, you're talking about a Hall of Fame type start in your first 2 games for a rookie to go 4 touchdowns in your opener, and then to lead a game-winning drive on the road on a short week against the Steelers with no timeouts and 2 minutes left in your second game. So I think we were asking a lot of him to win that game on Thursday on a short week. He had 2 weeks to prepare for the Falcons game, only 3 days to prepare for this one. All that being said, I would say A+ from Will Levis in his first 2 starts.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I feel like he's literally one throw away from being a hero here.
Absolutely.
We're hoisting him up. The very next game that we're going to see, Dolphins Chiefs out in Germany. Man, oh man, there's a lot of close games, or at least as far as what appears to be pick'em games. Do we stay away from this game at all? Is there anything that you like about it?
Well, I think the professional bettors are kind of telling you how they feel about Miami here, because this is a neutral site game, and this is pretty much how these teams are graded against one another without any other factors involved. They both have to deal with the travel. They both are playing on a neutral site. So right now, it looks like Miami might be a little bit closer to Kansas City based on maybe what we think, because this line never got to 3, never even considered touching 3. In fact, it kind of creeped back in the other direction. And I think we settled 2.5 here. And it makes sense. I do think Miami's offense right now is better than Kansas City's offense, and Miami has the better playmakers. And I know Patrick Mahomes is Patrick Mahomes, but it's kind of hard to ignore the inconsistencies of their offense this year. That doesn't mean I don't think they're going to turn it around and trend up towards the second half of the year, but this Miami offense is playing better right now, period. Now, I think the Chiefs defense is where this game will be either won or lost. If they can find a way to get the ball out of Tua's hands and back into Mahomes' hands and let Patrick control the tempo, then I think Kansas City should win this game. But I'm not 100% sure that that's going to happen. I'm not betting this one. I think if I had to pick it, I would lean Miami because it seems like that's where the sharp money is. But man, oh man, this is going to be a fun one to sit back and watch.
Jared, 2 years, I think I finally learned something in talking to you on Sundays. And you teach us every week, but I'm going to predict what you're going to say here next. So,
all right.
Last week in the NFL, we had a ton of double-digit point spreads. I think that you like to tease those, right? Well, this week, pretty much everything is 5.5 points and under outside of 2 games. Browns-Cardinals is an 8.5 point spread in favor of the Browns. Saints-Bears, 8.5 point spread in favor of the Saints. Are those teasing options?
Oh, man, look at you. I don't even need to do the segment anymore.
Boom.
What is it? My work here is done.
I lay down my sword.
It is a really good teaser spot, I think, for Cleveland, especially at 8. So it's actually funny. Usually 8.5 to 2.5 is a good teaser leg. I'm getting a little bit more concerned with 2 because of all these 2-point conversions. So I feel more comfortable going from 8 to 2 because, man, I'm seeing a lot of games land 2 and 8. Because teams down 14 now are going for 2 when they score a touchdown late, and sometimes they get it and they are down 6, but sometimes they don't get it and they're down 8. So I think those 2 numbers, 2 and 8, are becoming a little more interesting. But yes, anything in the 7.5 to 8.5 range is prime teaser territory. When you look at New Orleans, based off of what we saw last week from Tyson Bagent, I think he's kind of turned back into a pumpkin. Maybe he's got a couple of good throws left in the tank there, but I would be shocked if they went into New Orleans and won, especially how that Saints offense looked last week. Alvin Kamara looks like he's finally getting going. And for Cleveland, I mean, I don't love their quarterback situation, if I'm being perfectly honest, but I think Arizona's starting to show you the Arizona that we thought they were going to be before they beat the Cowboys and kind of hung around with all these teams. So yeah, Arizona with their quarterback, Clayton Tune, probably going to be Kyler Murray down the road, but it looks like Tune this week, and I wouldn't throw Murray out there against this Browns defensive line in his first start, that's for sure. So Cleveland and New Orleans, and I think the Giants are the other teaser leg I like this week. You take them up through from 2 up to 8. And I think that's another decent spot this week because I don't trust Vegas to cover by margin.
Jared Smith joining us right now, Fox Sports Radio betting analyst. He's our betting analyst as well. You hear him every single Friday, 7:30, right here on Big Rich, TD, and Fletch. And Jared will join me and Brian Noe tomorrow morning, countdown to kickoff, Fox Sports Radio, 6 a.m. to 9 a.m. I do cheat on this show with Jared and Brian. They're very they're very good people. Okay. And that's a very good show.
They don't love you like we do.
Really, really good show. Some say one of the best shows on the radio, maybe top 3. And I'm a part of 3 radio shows. And it's weird that they're all in the top 3. All right, listen. This Chargers line is interesting to me. So it opened 2.5. Chargers favored on the road. It got bet up to 3.5 now. Monday Night Football. So we're looking ahead here. But is 3.5 too high, or is this a place to get in on the Chargers still?
Yeah, I thought 3 was a good bet on the Chargers. I actually used them in one of my contests this week. And I'm a Jets fan, so I'm picking against my team here. But I think when you look at this Jets team right now and you look at what they did against the Giants, that performance scares me a little bit. Because the Giants' defensive line is not that formidable now, especially after they traded away Leonard Williams. And they really struggled to move the ball. And frankly, I don't think that spot was very clean. I thought the Jets were very fortunate in the last few seconds of that game to the referee didn't even touch the ball on the spot. Like the center just put it down and Zach spiked it. So again, fortunate win for them. And the narrative of this game would have been very different if the Jets would have lost that game. So I think the Chargers are the right side here, but you've watched enough Chargers games, especially down there in that part of the country. Them to win by more than a field goal is a tough ask.
I know.
It just seems like every Chargers game is the same, except for last Sunday. They win, they're winning, they're losing, they're winning, they're losing. They make a boneheaded play, and then they end up winning by field goal or losing by field goal. So I think at 3.5, it would be the Jets for me. But if it goes back down to 3 at any point on Sunday, especially because this is a Monday night game, keep an eye on that number. At 3, I think I would be interested in getting back in on the Chargers.
Yeah, at worst, it would be a push, in my opinion, as well. All right, Jared, awesome stuff as always. Thank you for doing it. I'll talk to you tomorrow morning, and we'll see you next week on the show.
Yes, sir. Appreciate you guys.
All right, there he goes. Jared Smith, lead betting analyst, Fox Sports Radio. And start dialing right now, 844-570-1360. That number again, 844-570-1360. If you want to go and see the San Diego State Aztecs take on the Utah State Aggies, you need to call right now for your pair of tickets. And coming up next, been a busy week for the Raiders. The news keeps tumbling out, and there's more on the other side. Okay, so the Raiders, Mark Davis just went on a firing spree. The embarrassment isn't over yet. We'll explain next. Okay, so already on the show, Big Rich, TD, and Fletch with you. We've given away Snow Jam tickets. We've given away SDSU against Utah State tickets. We're going to still give away a pair of tickets to Laney Wilson playing North Island Credit Union Amphitheater. That's coming up in just a few minutes, so you better stay tuned for those. Also, Tony Kanja and Keg and Bottle coming in, 10 locations around San Diego.
Love that guy.
One
Bringing
in Santa
in,
Barbara, one in Chicago.
You're damn right.
Yeah.
So that's 12 total. That's a dozen Keg and Bottles nationwide. Okay, he's bringing in Sespe Creek,
I'm thirsty.
and they got a smoked bourbon that I am super excited to try. It's called Warbringer. They also have Silver Grin vodka. They have something called what was it again? It was rum.
It's Parlor K. Yeah.
That brings me right to the Caribbean.
Yeah,
I feel like I'm Jack Sparrow.
the Warbringer mesquite smoked whiskey or bourbon here.
Yeah.
That I want that on the shelf. Look at that bottle.
So the name alone,
Okay.
Well,
Warbringer.
TD, you can buy one. 10 locations throughout San Diego.
That's correct. It's correct. It's correct.
Or keggandbottle.com.
Yeah.
Okay,
that's right.
especially keggandbottle.com, actually.
All right, so we're gonna get into all that, and that's good stuff. And there's already like a palpable level of excitement around iHeart San Diego because I've been spouting off about who's coming in here, and so I think we're gonna have some guests joining us for a couple of drinks here. In the meantime, let's get back to the Raiders, who have had a weird week, firing Josh McDaniels, Dave Ziegler, as well as their offensive coordinator. And now they've also announced they benched Jimmy Garoppolo a day ago and then immediately wished him a happy birthday on social media. So
I wonder if that strip club or the brothel that offered him free sex for life is
the Bunny Ranch?
have they taken back that offer since he got benched?
Dude, the replies in the comments.
Oh man. Yeah. Happy B-Day. Now just sit right over here.
Somebody wrote, happy bench day. I mean birthday.
Well, Jimmy G cannot catch a break, by the way. No matter where he goes, he's like, I'm going to be the starter.
He got 70 mil in the bank from the Raiders.
Oh, yeah,
He's
I wouldn't
fine.
care.
Oh,
I wouldn't
Hang
care.
on a second. How about this one? Earlier, I said happy birthday, Jimmy G, but the message got intercepted by someone else. Jesus.
That's not bad.
That is is so not fair.
Someone did a little compilation of coaches' reactions to some Jimmy G throws the other day.
Yeah.
It's bad.
Dude, well, listen.
Dude, talk about the eye roll.
Yeah,
You got to be careful on an NFL sideline. There was one last night too. It was a Kenny Pickett throw, and it was actually going towards the coach on the sideline, and the coach batted it down and turned around and threw his headset.
Like, you missed him by so much. I'm not in the game.
I'm the one batting down your passes. What, you got sick of the defense doing it?
Oh my gosh. No, dude, it gets frustrating. I remember on the sideline one time while I was playing for the Chargers, our offensive line coach came over to coach us after a drive where I forget what happened, but we were pissed because the wrong play got called. And it was very obvious to anybody who was associated with this game plan. Like, we shouldn't have ran whatever play we just ran. And we came off the field on a third down. And so we're all sitting there. Joe D comes wandering over. He's like, okay, fellas, listen. Now that was a BS effort. And we're like, everybody in concert was like, you shut the F up. You get the F out of here. You go up there. You get on the headset. And you talk to Wiz about that play call, blah, blah, blah. And we fired on him for like a legitimate 15-second tirade. And he goes, okay, I can tell you guys need a moment. And then he just walked away. Absolutely.
Oh
awesome.
God, I love it.
But
I
that
love
was
it.
back in my playing days. I was a big fat guy back then.
Yeah, not a big fat guy
I'm
now.
a skinny guy. And now I'm sitting next to another skinny
Well,
guy.
you know what? Unexpected little fun fact, I guess, this morning as I was pulling stuff out of the truck here for a Bar Cart Friday, I leaned against the truck and then noticed, oh, I got stuff all over the front of me. But it's not just my giant fat belly. It's all over the front of me. Yeah, how about
It's like
that?
when we were talking about belly bumps the other day.
Exactly
Yeah, yeah.
right.
You
Yeah,
guys
his
got a
belly's
little more
gotten smaller.
uncomfortable.
Your belly buttons, now you're face to face with each
Yeah,
other.
exactly.
So it's
Or
Lower region to lower region.
yeah.
Pelvis on pelvis action
And that's-
in midair.
And that's what you can thank SDFatLoss.com for. Midair pelvis to pelvis action. SDFatLoss.com has changed our lives. Changed our lives. No, honestly, they actually have, because I mean, we've lost over 30 pounds. All of us are over the 30-pound mark, which is truly incredible because it hasn't even been 8 weeks.
Yeah.
I mean, it's been insane to say the least. And look, I'm feeling better. I'm sleeping better. Everything just moves better. The aches and the pains aren't quite there anymore. Yeah, I can move around. The joint aches are gone. But the staff, the coaches over at SDFatLoss.com, they will show you the same thing they showed us: the correct way to lose weight, the quick way to lose weight, the healthy way to lose weight. As Fletch is laughing at me, I said something stupid.
No, you didn't. It's what Fletch whispered in my ear. Look, the point is everything's moving a lot better.
Oh, yeah.
Like, things are good. Look,
Things are a lot good.
The point is, when you lose all this weight, Travis, like, you feel a little less encumbered, right? You feel a little bit more athletic.
Well,
Maybe
or
you're trying things that you never tried before.
this is all true. This is all true and factual. And we'll post pictures online. Look, there's no exercise required, but all of a sudden, exercise now a thing that you do because you've dropped 30 pounds.
Damn right.
And an inch. You've gained an inch. Okay. No counting points, no counting calories, no drugs, no injections, none of that stuff. Go to SDFatLoss.com. Schedule a free consultation today. You will not be disappointed. It works. The program works. And all three of us are here to attest to it.
Yeah.
So SDFatLoss.com.
844-570-1360. Call that number right now. 844-570-1360. Lainey Wilson tickets right now. A pair.
Woo!
You're going to see her at North Island Credit Union Amphitheater. If you're caller number 5 right now, 844-570-1360. And Bar Cart Friday coming up next.
Hour number 3, Big Rich, TD, and Fletch. Hour number 3 on a Friday. That means it's Bar Cart Friday. Get ready to party. This is going to be a big one. This update is presented by the Jim Buttrell Real Estate Team. Thursday night football. Steelers took down the Titans 20-16 in Pittsburgh. Kenny Pickett connecting with Deontay Johnson for a go-ahead touchdown late in the game. Big games coming up this weekend. Week 9 of the NFL season. Chiefs, Dolphins in Germany. Cowboys, Eagles in Philly. Sunday nighter, we got the Bills taking on the Bengals in Cincinnati. And on Monday night, Chargers taking on the Jets. That game will be played in New Jersey. College football, Aztecs coming off their second bye week of the season. They got Utah State at Snapdragon Stadium tomorrow at 4. Pregame coverage getting underway live from Aztec Village starting at 2 o'clock. Tickets and info at goaztecs.com. And speaking of Aztecs, Aztecs basketball opening up their 2023-2024 season at home. They're welcoming Fullerton to town next Monday night. Banner raising night at Viejas Arena. We got 2 pairs of tickets coming up on Monday's show, but make sure you arrive early for Monday night's game for the banner raising ceremony. Would you like to know what your home would sell for today? Get a simple text message with your home's value by texting your address to 855-600-6000. You'll get no phone call, just a text. Jim Buttrell has the buyers. Simply text your address to 855-600-6000.
Thank God it's Friday!
It's been a long week and the fellas are thirsty. It's time to cruise into the weekend. Big Rich, TD, and Fletch present Bar Cart Friday. Brought to you by Keg and Bottle.
Happy Friday to all who celebrate. Big Rich, TD, and Fletch with you. And yes, it is a Bar Cart Friday brought to you by Tony Kanja, Keg and Bottle, 10 locations around San Diego, like you just heard there. And tonight, or I should say today, we are joined by Sespe Creek, who have 3 great brands of liquor. We're looking at Silvergren Vodka. We're looking at Warbringer Smoked Bourbon, and we're looking at Parlor K Rum. The bottles, first and foremost, are incredible. We have boxes upon boxes upon boxes of alcohol in studio right now. This is the most anybody's brought with them. And joining us in studio is Alfred and Derek. Alfred, you own and operate Sespe Creek. Derek, you work sales. Is that the main gig?
Correct.
Okay, yeah, get right on the microphone.
That's
Here,
correct.
we can move it around. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, we're just getting set up. Like I said, there's so many things in here. What did you guys bring with you? Derek, I mean, thank goodness you're a former football player. He literally came in with 7 boxes under each arm. He's like, where do I put it? It's incredible.
I mean, obviously we brought the Silvergren vodka, which we're very proud of. Warbringer, that you got a tri-crop vodka here with winter wheat, corn, and potato all mixed in. The Mesquite Smoked Bourbon's been our favorite hit up there in Pasadena, Los Angeles area. And then the Parlor K Rum is the sleeper of them all.
Yeah. No, I love a rum, but I think consensus on this show, we're whiskey drinkers. And the smoked bourbon sounds incredible because like the smoked cocktail revolution has really started and it's taken over like a lot of the craft cocktail making in the bars you go to. But also the name Warbringer, that's a cool. Who came up with that, Alfred?
The biggest cock in the yard.
Say it again.
The biggest cock in the yard. We're the cock of the walk. Big beast of bourbon. A big walloping, knock your socks off.
This
Smoke
guy,
bourbon.
and he knows roosters.
Yeah,
That's our logo.
That's
Right.
the logo.
That is the logo.
It's the logo.
Hang
Says it on the bottle,
hand
cock
me
of the
one
walk.
These are the silver grin I want to see, but also grab that Warbringer too, Tony. Thank you so much. Tony Conjure is like doing everything right now. He's pouring us some taste.
Everything's fine.
Oh, there it is. The cock of the walk. The big beast of bourbon. I thought you were just coming up with that extemporaneously. You literally put it on the bottle.
These are bottles that you just want to put on a shelf, though. You're going to have to buy 2 because you want one on display and one to drink.
Well,
Dude.
we bought an auction. We bought a bottle at auction and then we replicated it. So it's an actual Wild West bottle.
Oh, no way.
That's cool.
That's cool.
Where does the name come from? Like what is Warbringer, you know what it means. I mean, it excites you just to hear the word, but where does it come from?
It comes from our graphic designer and brand guru, Chad Michael, who actually has the logo tattooed on his chest. So,
Wow.
he lives and breathes the brand, and he just came up with the name Warbringer. It captures who we are.
Yeah.
We just go against the grain.
Yeah, no, I love it. I love it a lot. So, Derek, we're going to be trying this Silvergren vodka first. Like you said, it's got the potato, the corn, the winter wheat. That's what it's distilled from. What, like when we smell it, when we taste it, like what makes this different than other vodkas?
Great question. I mean, as a salesperson out in the field, that's the first thing that everybody asks, right? There's so many different things that make this special. One, where we source the grains, right? Bozeman, Montana has some of the richest soil in the US.
I know, dude. I played with a dude
wow.
from Bozeman, and those are some hard people
Kevin
out there.
Costner?
No,
Yeah. Yes.
no, that wasn't actually. Yes, it was Kevin Costner. He played for the Patriots. no, yeah, but yeah, I mean that is God's country.
It's
out there.
God's country, and you know that tri blend that Alfred and them came up with is absolutely phenomenal. Josh Goldman and David Brandt, who is the biochemist and the James Beard Award winner, they came up with something that said that vodka needs to taste like something. Why not?
Right.
And so this
right.
blend is what gives you that sweetness. It's not strippy at all. It doesn't burn. It tickles your throat, and it's so pleasing at 84 degrees, as you're finding out right now live on the air.
Now hold on here. Have we had any vodka that's been a blend before?
I don't think so.
I don't
that's
think we
nice.
have.
No, we have not.
No.
Yeah.
This is the first of its kind.
Okay, the first of its kind. And let's
Well,
take a
you know
little
what?
sip.
That explains it. That
What, yeah.
explains why it's the first one we've ever.
Does explain
because
why.
we've been waiting for you.
So, Derek, while we taste
Finally.
this, you're Aztec for life. You're wearing the SDSU hoodie. You played at
Aztecs
San
for life,
Diego
baby.
State.
Played
What
at-
years were you playing?
I played it. I came in under Luganville in '93,
Yeah.
and that was a short run for me. And Marshall Falk, shout out to my big homie. He's going to be our honor warrior this Saturday.
That's right.
What?
Yeah.
But he brought me in. He recruited me out of John Muir High School in Pasadena. I played there from '93 to '98. Ended up finishing under Tollner. And Kevin Gilbride was kind enough to give your boy a walk, and had a cup of coffee with him '98, '99.
That's
Sorry
awesome,
about
man.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
How about
yeah,
that?
dude.
Go Aztecs.
Go Aztecs, indeed. They got a big one. Homecoming, like you mentioned. Marshall Falk is going to be the honor warrior out there, and I love homecoming. Like there's, I mean, you remember?
Oh,
It's just it's
It's the best. It's the best game of the year.
Yeah, it's cool. People are excited. We just gave away a pair of tickets to see the Aztecs against Utah State coming up this Saturday, 4 p.m. kickoff. Our coverage here on San Diego Sports 760, the home of the Aztecs, gets underway at 2 p.m. And we're thrilled for them. Tough year for the Aztecs. What have you thought about, just the season overall, the offense, defense, what you've seen?
I think that we've been struggling in the last couple of years with recruitment. I love Brady Hoke. I thought he had a great run when he first came, then obviously left us for Michigan. We weren't happy about that, but we're good to get him back.
Yeah.
But I just think that we need something new with Snapdragon Stadium coming in, and I think that next year we'll get a better run at the recruitment off season. Hopefully, we get some better acquisitions. But I don't know. We're struggling offensively. I just think the offensive plays have not gelled yet this year, with the quarterback situation as well.
A lot of young talents around that offense, a lot of new faces in new places.
Yeah.
Things still have to coalesce. And like you said, recruiting these days, it is so different.
It's very different.
The NIL, it's changed the whole landscape of college football. It's like, Brady Hoke during the coaches show this week, he said it's like the NFL. I mean, he's like, we're talking about like free agency, basically.
Pretty much.
Protecting your players from transferring, but also, what do you have to offer these recruits coming in or transfers coming in? It's a completely different world. All of a sudden, these coaches are existing in, and I think actually this year having 2 bye weeks have actually helped the Aztecs because they've gotten a head start on recruiting in season because they've sent their coaches everywhere during the bye weeks, which is kind of cool being a week 0 team. Alfred, this vodka is delicious.
Yeah, I mean, it's a sipper.
The whole idea is vodka sucks. So we had to fix it.
Yeah.
You had to
Yeah.
fix the vodka. You fixed
We
vodka.
fixed
Vodka that tastes good.
Yeah, no doubt. It is very rare that I've tasted a vodka and thought, I could just pour this over ice.
It's room temperature.
Right?
8
my
a.m.
God.
Dude, yeah,
Well, it's fine.
That's when we
Still great.
prefer to start drinking.
Yeah.
How we prefer to drink.
Yeah, we're used to
It's
that.
the
We're
best.
used to that.
Honestly, it's the
Mhm.
show improves drastically.
What-
Trust me, we see the numbers. We know.
Just wait till like 8:45 when old TD over there is a little more slumped
I'm
over and a little more
fine.
giggly.
I don't think I've ever been slumped over.
You haven't finished your glass yet.
We
Let's
forgive
go
you if you
through.
were.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank
We
you
get
in
it.
advance. Thank you in advance.
Okay.
Alfred, you're wearing a Bucks hat from Tampa Bay. What's up?
I jumped on that bandwagon real quick. So we moved to Florida during the pandemic to get out of this place.
Okay.
And,
All right.
Schools were open, sweet tea and freedom. But they won the championship, and so now I gotta pay my dues as they, next 20 years will be tough.
Not to alarm you, but Rich Ornberger, Tom Brady has touched his balls.
Yeah, that has happened.
The
Yeah.
other way around.
What-
Oh no, you
yeah.
got it.
Tom has touched
Yeah,
the
he
balls.
said-
Oh, yeah, no.
Actually, sorry, I
No,
didn't mean to say that.
No, Rich just walked in arbitrarily in the locker room and grabbed Tom Brady.
By the scrotum. Look, better decisions have been made. He didn't like it. There's a lawsuit pending. Look, the point is, no, we played together in New England, and everything that you've learned about him since you've jumped on the Buccaneers bandwagon is true. He's an awesome guy. Really, really good dude.
Tony's over here sipping on cocktails.
Listen, I'm doing some R&D for you, okay?
What?
I've never made a margarita out of vodka.
Oh, it's the
I-
best.
I'm
wait a
talking to
second.
Alfred last night.
Literally
he goes,
the best
he
margarita
goes,
you'll ever
we're
have.
making margaritas. I said, I didn't know you had a tequila in your portfolio. He goes, I don't.
Wait a second.
Wow.
Hey, well, actually, okay.
I just got a lot more excited.
This is gonna,
I was like,
this is gonna sound
what?
crazy. So my wife, for whatever reason, just hates tequila. Like she's just not a tequila drinker. She's tried it so many times. Like, well, there'll be a new drink that we gotta. Oh, you gotta try this, and she'll take a sip. She's like, I just don't like tequila. Vodka. She'll ask for a margarita with vodka in it,
Yeah.
and I've never heard of it outside of her before. So, what gave you guys the idea to do this?
Has taste. So the vodka it's a natural cream of the crops taste, because everybody strips the taste out of vodka. They're worried about how awful it's going to taste because they start with crappy ingredients. But it's made in Montana from black gold soil. They call it out there black gold potatoes, winter wheat, and corn. So it tastes good.
Oh my gosh, this is incredible. Okay, so we're actually going to be able to get some of the vodka, some of the corn and the winter wheat, and some of that potato mash. Is that what the start of it? Whatever the distilling process starts with all that.
Why does a margarita make me so happy? I mean, just the glass in my hand. I'm like, life is so much better.
It's so fancy.
It's so fancy.
Okay.
So
here we go.
oh, here we go.
Yeah.
Here we go.
Cheers to
Madonna
you guys.
walking by. Yeah,
Garrett,
cheers.
Alfred, thank you guys so much for coming in. This is awesome. Oh, that is the
Good job,
only
Tony.
way to
Good morning.
Are you kidding me?
dude. What?
That's how
Wow.
we do.
Wow.
What's
Tony is
going
on
on
point.
here?
So guys, ingredients,
Yes.
right? Vodka, right?
Yeah,
Squeeze a lime,
yeah.
and this Tres Agaves classic margarita organic.
That's all
That's
you
it.
put in this.
That's
it.
all I put in there. There's no salt on there. There's no anything to mask the vodka.
Uh-oh. This is gonna-
That's why I tasted it. I said, maybe let me see if I got to do There's not even triple sec in there.
We have a station meeting at 10. It's not going to go well. I'm just letting you know right
We have
now.
an entire so every whatever you call it, show salesperson in the iHeart cluster is meeting at 10 a.m. We're gonna show up half in the back.
I
I'm
think
going
TD
to
should host the
finish
whole
this.
meeting.
Just show up with some Silver Grand vodka margarita.
Now
Yeah,
you're talking.
right.
Now you're talking, dude. Yeah. Can you
Oh.
guys stay until
Yeah.
10?
We're going to need gallons.
Dude, this is
We have gallons.
This is perfect.
yeah. That's the right word
Yeah.
for it. I'm so happy right now.
Oh my gosh. I mean, honestly, this is going to be something I make at home, and wifey's going to be real happy.
Alfred, Buccaneers this year. Baker Mayfield. What do you think of him so far?
Impressive.
Yeah, actually, I think we all agree. Like he's kind of reinvigorated that team a little bit.
100%.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, Baker, he's got a little bit of that dog in him.
Baker's always had dog in him. You know, people just slighted him for whatever reason. He had a bad burn situation over in Cleveland.
Yeah.
Rams, that was just a little short pitch stop. We all knew that wasn't going to work out long term. But Baker's always been a dog. He's a Heisman Trophy winner, man.
Yeah,
Let's not forget what he's done in college. And he transitioned into the NFL pretty well as well.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, look, I remember watching him obviously at Oklahoma, but remembering the story when he got to Cleveland that his career at Oklahoma, I mean, both places he played college football started as a walk-on. And this guy won a Heisman. So there is, there is a reason to be excited about Baker, about the Tampa Bay Bucks this year in the NFC South, because also you're talking about kind of a down division. Look at Carolina, you look at the Saints, they're a 4-14. They're probably the best looking team there. The Falcons, they just benched Desmond Ritter. So I don't know. I mean, not all hope is lost. You said 20 years of hurt is coming your way. It may not be the case, Alfred.
No,
That's
it's
something
something
to root
good.
for. Yeah.
Lost to great defenses,
Yeah.
aggressive defenses. And he still threw the ball okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's a gamer.
All of a sudden, I think I'm a San Antonio Spurs fan, and it's all because of Slender Man.
Oh,
Dude,
bro,
Victor
yeah,
Wembanyama,
yeah.
He was ridiculous last night. So also the NBA in-season tournament, I guess, officially got underway yesterday, which it's the beginning of the season. I don't understand how it works.
Okay. How is that even possible?
I don't know.
I thought
So it's the group stage because they're trying to do the soccer thing. I don't get it. I don't understand it. But Victor Wembanyama, 38 points. That's tied for the third most in a game by a Spurs rookie all time. Only David Robinson had reached that mark earlier. There's also just a stupid stat with them. Victor Wembanyama, the first teenager with 20 points and a half in Spurs history. Which I don't know how many teenagers have actually played a half in Spurs history.
Can you imagine being a teenager and playing on an NBA team and
Dude's
then just
19
going
years
out
old.
and balling?
Okay,
No.
Mike Tomlin, one of my favorite head coaches in the NFL. The Steelers are now the 34th team in NFL history to be outgained by their opponent in every single game of their first 8 games of a season. And what's their record? 5-3. It doesn't make sense.
Yeah,
Mike
yeah.
Tomlin is a magician. He's a wizard. I don't know how he keeps winning games, how he keeps having above 500 seasons, especially with the teams the Steelers have had over the last 5 or 6 years with old Big Ben and now transitioning into Kenny Pickett. But Mike Tomlin makes it work, and they get wins somehow. They've been outgained by 790 yards so far this season.
They've been outgained by almost 800 yards, and they're a 5-win football team at midseason.
Yeah, what are
Unheard
the
of.
Broncos? Broncos are in second
No.
place in that stat. It's not a good second place to have.
And they've got 2 wins?
Yeah.
have
The
two?
Broncos have 3 wins.
They have 3?
Oh, yeah, they
Yeah,
beat
yeah.
the Chiefs last
Oh,
week.
they
Yeah,
did
yeah.
beat the Chiefs. I keep forgetting. That's like a
How do you like that?
It just doesn't make sense.
TD is a Denver Broncos
was gonna
fan,
say.
and so let's just say
So they make fun of me a lot.
teasing them
They make fun of me a
quite a
lot.
bit.
By the way, Russell Wilson, statistically, better quarterback than Patrick Mahomes, better quarterback than Josh Allen so far this season.
That's right.
Derek Norman joining us in studio, Aztec for Life, sales executive, right-hand man of Alfred English, owner of Sespe Creek Spirits, and we're enjoying right now the vodka. Go ahead.
Rich wants. Did you play with J.R. Tolver? Did your years overlap?
JD, he came in after me.
Okay.
Yeah.
He's a great
2000.
guy.
He looks older than you, so congratulations.
Sorry, JD.
When we were talking about Wembanyama, I was reminded when you said teenager NBA, like that's unfathomable because I remember as a teenager, and Derek, I'm sure you do too, on the campus at the Mesa, myself at Penn State, when you first get to college football, you're like, whoa, like I thought it was pretty good, and all of a sudden I suck. Like, yeah.
It's a huge transition. I mean, like every level, everything's a lot faster. Guys are a lot bigger, a lot stronger. You with guys who've been here 3, 4, 5 years, depending on if they redshirted or medical, so it's a very different atmosphere, and you can't play. You're not a utilitarian anymore. I mean, when I was at Muir, I played every sport. I was an All-American, blue chip, ranked 12th in the country, had several trips everywhere. I mean, Marshall is the one who got me to San Diego State.
Yeah.
Remember the billboards?
Yeah.
Can't beat the rush all over San Diego. And then I went to that SC game when they tied 28-28 at the Coliseum. I was like, this guy's the man.
Yeah.
And then it picked me up from the airport, and you're like, wait a minute, I'm being hosted by Marshall Falk. So it was a great experience. It's just very fast paced.
Yeah. It's really, that's what amazes me when you see a LeBron James, when you see a Victor Wembanyama, when you see like young players in the NFL, like Will Levis last night, Thursday Night Football, cutting his teeth, second start ever, looking like he belongs.
Yeah.
Because I can tell you right now,
He doesn't belong.
when I first got to college, when I first got to the NFL, I didn't belong.
Neither does Will Levis. He's tricking everyone.
Well,
it's pretty impressive what he's doing.
No,
I'm giving him credit because the game has to be going 1,000 miles an hour for him. He has to not be seeing everything clearly, and he's still performing well. That's impressive.
Does Will Levis not look like a 45-year-old guy out there on the field? I mean, he does not look. He does not look his age to me.
He's
and I'm not talking about.
He's composed.
Yeah.
He's just figured it out. I don't know. He's figured it out. I didn't have any of that.
Have you guys seen his ex-girlfriend's TikTok account recently? Because NFL fans have infiltrated it
no.
and said, "Wow, you really dropped the bag on this one." 'Cause she dumped him.
Yeah.
And it's been fueling his performances ever since.
He will prove himself.
He will prove
and win
himself.
her back. Hey, Tony Kanja, if I wanted to go by one of the 10 locations of Kagan Bottle out throughout San Diego and pick up a bottle of Silver Grin vodka, how much is it going to send me back?
You guys are gonna always talk about value, right?
Yeah.
This is insane. When we first tasted this and saw the price, we're like, you're kidding, right? So he's priced this for you guys to like absolutely not pass on this. $19.99.
Are you kidding me?
This is not
Only,
is a
well,
$70
actually,
bottle of vodka.
it's a sale price. I should.
Okay.
Normally, it's probably around town, maybe going for 29. But
Yeah.
20
finagle the
bucks?
deal for your listeners.
Hold on here.
There's a
Hold on.
little sticker on the top. If you could read that,
$19.99.
Okay, it
that'd be
says
great.
World's best vodka winner.
Thank you.
Ooh.
Thank
Okay.
you.
Wow,
so
wow.
That's so kind of you.
You're welcome, San Diego.
Yeah. For
2 years in a row, by
It's
the way.
yeah, it's an official
Wow.
competition, just a little one called the World Vodka Awards.
No
So-
kidding.
Unbelievable.
yeah,
And it's-
Grey Goose.
And it's under 20 bucks a bottle right now.
Under $20.
Yep,
So-
right now.
bottle.
Okay.
So Tito's
I-
is over $20. Everybody.
I'm putting
Right.
this in my bag. I'm sorry.
We
No
brought
more
you. We
vodka.
brought you one.
Okay.
Okay,
Very
good.
very
You can
However,
swig it.
yeah.
You
Thanks,
can swig
Alfred.
it.
Yeah, no doubt.
This is it.
Okay.
I've already finished my vodka margarita.
Yeah, I
I
know. I was
know.
trying to pace myself,
I
and then
can't.
okay,
I
good.
I
finished
made a
my
second batch for
taster.
not for you guys,
Okay.
for the rest of the building.
Well, listen, they can wait.
Screw them, Tony.
This is
This is about us.
Okay, so we're going to be tasting the Warbringer smoked mesquite smoked. I don't want to screw it up. Southwest bourbon. That's going to be coming up on the other side of a quick commercial break. But before we run, I want to talk to you about the Good Feet store. They've got 30 years of experience helping people feel better. If you have joint pain in your lower body, especially foot, ankle, knee, hip, back pain, get to one of their 200 plus locations overseas and in the United States. Goodfeet.com to book your first appointment like I did, like these guys did. We went in there, try before you buy situation. You walk around, they balance test you. They see exactly which arch supports are going to work best for you. You put them in your shoes, whatever shoes you wear. I mean, if you're wearing house slippers or work boots, they fit in anything. They make you feel better. Back pain coming out of the NFL. And since I've started wearing these arch supports, it's sort of melted away. That's the best way I could describe it. 2 weeks into wearing them, I just felt better, slowly but surely felt better to the point where I don't even have to think about it. Walking around with the kids at a theme park, going golfing with these guys. Pretty soon, Derek Norman going to be taking him up on the offer, going golfing in Pasadena. It's awesome. You wake up the next morning feeling great. So if you're suffering again with lower body joint pain, Good Feet store, tons of locations. Find one near you. Okay, coming up next, we stick around with Sespe Creek. They've got the Warbringer, and they're bringing it to us on the other side. Big Rich TD Fletch.
This update is presented by DraftKings Fantasy Sports. Thursday Night Football last night, Steelers beat the Titans 20-16 in Pittsburgh. Kenny Pickett connecting with Deontay Johnson for a late go-ahead touchdown. Big games coming up this weekend in Week 9 of the NFL season. Chiefs-Dolphins in Germany at 6:30 in the morning on Sunday, so wake up early. Cowboys-Eagles in Philly. Sunday nighter, we got the Bills taking on the Bengals in Cincinnati. Monday Night Football, Chargers taking on the Jets. Chargers having to travel across the country for that one. College football, Aztecs coming off their second bye week of the season. They got Utah State at Snapdragon Stadium tomorrow at 4 o'clock. Pregame coverage gets underway live from Aztec Village starting at 2 o'clock with John Schaefer and J.R. Tolver. Teddy and Rich will have the call starting at 4. Tickets and info at goaztecs.com. And coming up next Monday, Aztecs basketball team, they're returning for the 2023-2024 season. They'll open up at home at Viejas Arena against Fullerton. It's banner-raising night at Viejas Arena. We will have a couple of pairs of tickets to give away to that game later this afternoon on John and Jim, and then early Monday morning with Big Rich, TD, and Fletch. Check out what DraftKings has to offer this season with code SPORTS, because life's more fun when you're in on the action. DraftKings, the crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Age and eligibility restrictions do apply. Void where prohibited. See DraftKings.com for details.
Thank God it's Friday!
It's been a long week and the fellas are thirsty.
Once it hits your lips, so good!
It's time to cruise into the weekend. Big Rich, TD, and Fletch present Bar Card Friday. Brought to you by Keg and Bottle.
And Keg and Bottle is in studio today. We got a bunch of fun guests, and so much more alcohol just came out, Tony. I don't know how you just keep pulling it out of nowhere.
We just got to keep doing it. We got to keep going.
We're also going to have a couple of phone guests today, as Jonathan Tucker and Josh Barnett going to be joining the show via the telephone call. And tell me about Josh and Jonathan.
So go ahead and give us a background of how Josh and Jonathan got involved.
Well, Josh Barnett is our superhero. He is the War Master, former heavyweight UFC bare knuckle champion, right?
Wow.
So he has
Oh my
the
gosh.
single select barrel War Master edition. And Josh, Jonathan Tucker, is the actor accoladed in the company that Alfred could probably share a little bit more about, because he just recently brought Jonathan Tucker on as our super celeb. You want to talk about Jonathan for us, Al?
Yeah, listen, if there's one thing I know is when I'm sitting down to watch a fight, whether it's boxing or UFC mixed martial arts, bare knuckle, doesn't matter. Like bourbon, that kind of feels like the reach.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That kind of feels like the drink I'm looking for
Right.
when I'm sitting there. So yeah, so he was talking about Josh's involvement. He's got the single barrel select, right?
Yep.
What about the other members involved in these barrel selections?
It's just Josh.
Oh, so
Yeah, he hunts down the barrels, and woe be the barrel that he finds.
Wait, so you're trusting him to go dip ladles and take sips of whiskey and just say this is the one?
The guy has the most amazing palate I've ever seen.
No kidding.
Yeah, he's just he's multi-talented. He's like the Leonardo da Vinci of the millennial generation, because he drinks whiskey, he fights, he writes, he's a philosopher.
And then Jonathan Tucker, actor, have been friends with you for years now.
Yeah, he's a killer. Yeah, it's basically only the psychos that we want to work with. And Tucker is a psycho in the best way, and so is Josh.
Who joins us on the show right now, Jonathan Tucker, live but remote. Jonathan, how you doing this morning? Do we got Jonathan's line potted up?
Oh, hang on. He's here. There we go. There's Jonathan.
Okay, Jonathan, how you doing this morning?
Good morning, gentlemen. When I heard that Senior Alfredo was going to represent Chesapeake Creek Distillery down in America, San Diego, I said, you got to get me on.
Yeah, buddy. So we are enjoying. We just tried the Silver Grim. We're about to try the Warbringer. Do you have a favorite? Is it the rum? Is it the vodka? Is it the bourbon? What do you gravitate toward one or the other?
Well, I'm an Irish Catholic who has now moved from the East Coast to the West. So as you're experiencing yourself live in the studio, getting the opportunity to work for the liquor company provides for a cover to be imbibing at 9 a.m. on a Friday. Good Shabbos. I love the bourbon, but I'm happy to ingest just about anything. as a proud American drinker who does it responsibly. The vodka is a big win. It's a total surprise when you guys just had the vodka.
Oh yeah, it was delicious, dude.
I mean, it's wild. My wife is not a vodka drinker. She just figured it was like a mixing, blending drink. She's gotten into tequila. We've got 2 kids, so we try to drink responsibly. She found the vodka to have more flavor than most tequilas.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Right. Right.
That's what we've known. So we just had a margarita with vodka in it, and it's the best margarita we've ever had. And so I've already drank mine. So
it's gone.
Apologies if I slur my words. This was the best vodka we've had in studio. It's delicious. It's amazing.
Yeah, it's great. And what I love about the bourbon is that, it's kind of like America's stronger reply to Lefroy. They've got that peat up there in the Highlands.
Yeah.
And we've got the American Southwest mesquite. And I've actually been to the distillery and gotten to see when people talk about craft or artisanal cocktail or spirits. Yeah, I always thought that was a bit of a goof, but this is the real deal. Like this is literally, 3 guys in the distillery. They've got some tremendous guidance from Alfred and from Josh Barnett and some of the other kind of senior team leaders. But it is a hands-on process, and it makes you appreciate the spirits even more from Sesame Creek Distillery.
And Jonathan, I would say we have actually Josh Barnett on the line with us here. Josh, we're holding a little taster of the rum in our hands. Should we taste it right now?
Yeah. I think the answer is
should.
Okay.
I think we should. We've got a lot lined up, so we got to go.
And by the way, as Josh is on the phone, this is a man who, when you look at his images, you do a quick image search on Google, and you look. I mean, he's got one of those jaw lines that like legitimate. I mean, like
iron jaw.
Yeah, it's hidden underneath the beard, and he's got this face in every single photo that's like, I'm gonna murder you and most of the people who you love.
Yeah. Also, I'll chop some trees.
Yeah. And then I'm gonna cut down a forest worth of trees. Josh, you look like a dangerous man. Your mixed martial artist career. How does that transfer over to the liquor game? Like, where's the harmony in that? How did you get involved in picking spirits?
Oh, just getting absolutely toasted at a bar into fistfights, I
Yes.
suppose.
Yes.
Okay. All of a sudden, I'm seeing the common ground.
Also, Josh, there is a photo of you here online, clean shaven. And how often do you dress up as Patrick Swayze?
Not often, because everybody thinks that I'm dead and they're looking for Whoopi Goldberg. Either that or they want me to work the door, and they're hoping Sam Elliott's going to show up.
Yeah, it's honestly, it is like Roadhouse. I mean, holy cow! Can we remake that movie with Jonathan Tucker? Can we please get that done?
It's all about whether he can grow the mullet or not.
Hey, Josh, we just tried this Parlor K rum. Woo. This is good.
Guys, this is a sipper.
Oh yeah, no doubt.
I mean, usually you think of rum.
David, our former head distiller, our master distiller, we made that together, me and him, during COVID.
Wow.
He had done some rum projects before that are absolutely incredible with some different stuff, but the ingredients that he was using for those prior rum projects were real high end, real expensive, and hard to get. And so we wanted to put something together that we thought would be easier to produce and also would be able to be sold at a lower price point, but with still incredibly high quality. So we went with a blend of molasses and inverted sugars, and away we went.
I was thinking they were inverted.
Yeah.
I could tell these were not upright.
Honestly, and Jarek and Alfred have only known me a short time. I always invert my sugars, so they know that. They know now. They
Josh
know that.
mentioned the price point. Now, Silvergren vodka that was at $19.99 for our listeners. Tony, what are we doing for the rum?
The rum, I've got to look. You called me out without me looking.
Wow.
Give me a second.
Wow.
Give
Okay.
me a second.
Yeah.
Kegandbottle.com.
Yeah.
But they are on kegandbottle.com.
Meanwhile, Tony's been
I'm bartending right now.
Yeah, exactly.
Dude,
What
you
are we doing?
I'm not in sales
Are
mode.
we doing a rum and coke?
Well, you guys talk about inverted sugar, so
Yeah.
we were discussing cocktails last night. Alfred and I, and he was explaining how good this rum is. I said, Well, let's do rum and Coke.
Mhm.
Right? Let's do rum and
Okay.
Coke, but we're doing it with Mexicola, which is
Okay.
Oh,
pure
the
sugar
real
cane.
sugar.
Yes.
Yeah.
Real sugar.
Real
It's
sugar.
inverted sugar.
Well,
So this
okay.
is how we're going to do this for you guys.
Is a Mexico inverted?
I don't
Yeah,
really
I don't think so.
understand. What
But
could
Fletch
somebody
is.
explain what inverted sugar means to me?
Say I'm inverted.
I don't know. It's probably been maybe Santa Muerta has been done on it, or
Yes.
Mexican Coke is, I don't know, it's got a little extra chorizo. Either way.
This is good.
It's got sugar cane. It's got the real sugar in it. So,
Oh my gosh.
but premium rum and premium Coke.
All right, just from a quick Google, inverted sugar is a 2-to-1 ratio of sugar and water, along with the addition of citric acid.
Okay.
All right.
Okay. Well, listen, I tasted.
This is the best rum and Coke I've ever had in my life.
That's what I was thinking.
It's perfect.
Oh wow.
Wow.
Okay. Jonathan, you're an actor. So when you had your first sip, and you were knocked out, did you put it on a little bit, or did you give like the real? Did you give like the real deal to Alfred over here? Were you trying to be nice to him? Is what I'm saying.
Totally get it. Yeah. Because I've known Alfred for a few years and was curious what he was up to.
Mm-hmm.
But I didn't know it was really Alfred's company until after I became a fan of the brand.
Oh. So you discovered the
then when
brand before his affiliation with it?
And well, before I knew he was affiliated with it. So when I got this direct message, he says, "Hey, it's Alfred from the Thatcher School, your high school pal." I said, "You're associated with Sesame Creek Distillery," and he invited me up to take a look at what they were doing up there, and we started talking for a few months. And I said, "What can I, how can I jump on board and help support the company, the idea, the brand, the opportunity to spend some time with Josh Barnett as an MMA fan was an ancillary win." So it's been a lot of fun. As I said, it's a great opportunity to drink, full stop. And I don't think that there's a brand out there that's making these spirits at this level in such a small, kind of considerate manner better than Sesame Creek Distillery.
This has been an awesome tasting so far. We got a long way from home here. We're still got to try this Warbringer Mesquite Smoked Southwest Bourbon. We're looking forward to that. The rum and the vodka are absolute winners, available at keganbottle.com. Tony Kanja in studio playing bartender. The margarita with the vodka was awesome.
Ooh.
The rum and Coke with the Mexican
That
Coke
was good.
was delicious. And huge thank you to you, Josh. Huge thank you to you, Jonathan. Thanks for joining us on the show and giving us a little idea of how Sespe has gotten started and gotten rolling here. Coming up next, Bar Cart Friday continues with a little bourbon on the other side.
We got the smoke.
We got the
Ooh,
smoke. Nice. Want to talk to everybody really quick about your San Diego County Toyota dealers. Want to rewind back to 2017. I was having major breakdown issues with my car, went on an East Coast trip, rented a 4Runner, and it changed our lives. And I mean that because it was the next car purchase we made. It was within months. We got back from this trip, and my wife, the entire time we were driving around the Northeast, she was like, wait, I haven't gotten car sick once. I don't know what it was, magic, whatever, but for whatever reason, the chassis the 4Runner is built on, it's stable enough that she doesn't get motion sickness. So I'm like, we're buying this car because she's like an alligator with a bad tooth when she's got that car sickness. So I was already in. It was a win for me there. But then went to San Diego County Toyota dealers after my next major breakdown in the vehicle I was driving, and the friendly staff, they weren't pushy. They were incredible to work with. They guided me towards the car I wanted to buy. And the year of the car I wanted to buy. I never bought a new car before. But the resale value on these Toyotas is incredible. It convinced me to buy the 4Runner brand new. And if you look at the resale value on a 2017 4Runner now, it holds up. It's ridiculous. It's crazy. And also, I haven't had to worry about these breakdowns. I was worrying about getting to work. In fact, the last breakdown of the car I used to own was on my way to work. I was explaining that the other day. So if you're looking for a car, a truck, an SUV, your next car purchase, get to your San Diego County Toyota dealers. Also, if you're interested in saving a little money at the gas pump, because we see where these prices are heading and it's not in the right direction, you got to check out their Beyond Zero lineup. Toyota's got these electrified vehicles and they'll find the perfect one for you. I drive around in the Prius a bunch. I love it. It looks like it's not going to be as spacious from the outside, but you step in there. I'm 6'3", 260 pounds. And when I get inside this thing, I've got room, leg room, headroom. It's awesome. So again, Toyota, San Diego County Toyota dealers is where you need to go. Check out Toyota.com. See their new inventory. They update it all the time. San Diego County Toyota dealers.
Hey, Rich, you remember when we were fat?
I do. It sucked.
It wasn't that long ago either. Like a month and a half ago, the three of us were big boys.
Yeah.
And now the three of us are much littler boys. I actually just put a photo up on my Twitter account at Fletch Sports of a before and after SDFatLoss.com of me. And I showed Rich this picture this morning. I had a literal human being growing in my belly. It was so big.
Well, not literal, but figurative. Yeah, you looked pregnant. The difference between you now and you then is obvious. I mean, you've lost, what, 30?
50 pounds.
50 pounds?
And Rich, it's all thanks to our friends over at SDFatLoss.com. That's Wayne and Chloe who hooked us up with free consultations, and then they got us on the program. And the program, it's really not that hard. There's no injections. There's no drugs. There's no hormones. There's no exercise. It is just good old-fashioned dieting. Give them a call, 858-665-3211. Get on over to SDFatLoss.com. Get a free consultation and start dropping the weight like crazy. The three of us have done it. You can do it too. If we can do it, I promise you can do it because we're idiots. Thank you to Wayne and Chloe, SDFatLoss.com. They've changed my life. They can change yours as well. You got nothing to lose but the unwanted pounds. Hit them up and get in touch with us. Let us know how it's going. SDFatLoss.com.
Happy Bar Car Friday to everyone who participates, everybody out there who's getting ready for the weekend. We have Sespe Creek Distilling in studio with us. Alfred, Derek in studio with us. Alfred, the owner. Derek, the lead salesman, secondhand man to Alfred. We've tried the Silver Grand Vodka. We've tried the Parlor K rum. We are on our way to trying the Warbringer smoked bourbon.
Okay, so
and the
I had
aromas.
Mhm.
TD, the aromas.
Oh my gosh,
that are filling the studio right now.
I had a Warbringer in my hand. I was giving it a good sniff. I was getting
Did you check the
good
legs?
nose on it.
You gotta check the
I was
legs.
looking at the legs as it crawls down the glass here.
Mhm.
But then Alfred came up, took it out of my hand, and handed me a different one. So I think I'm being roofied.
It's just
right.
It's like those
Well, I
videos-
told him about you.
This
So.
is like those videos that circulate on social media where like Putin is handed a champagne flute and he's like, "I'm not drinking this," and he puts it right down.
Yes.
Yeah. So we will be poisoned on air today, but before we get to that,
So roofies.
you got to
and
get the
Putin,
fresh
that's
from the
all-
barrel stuff.
We want to end our
Oh,
week
yeah.
with roofies and Putin.
Yeah.
That's what we want
Wow.
to do.
That- well, you know what? But this
that's
is our
how
show,
Fridays
Ben.
work.
We don't know where things
Yeah.
are going to go, Fletch. Okay. Sometimes you end with roofies.
Why
Okay?
is Aaron Ballman back behind you without a drink in her hand?
No, she has a margarita in here.
Okay, she
Okay.
has a margarita.
All right,
She
very
also
good.
was
Does.
spying the shot
No
ski.
party fouls. This
No.
week.
Yeah,
No.
this is the first time we've had a shot ski come in.
Yeah. Oh yeah, the shot ski. We
Yeah.
haven't even
Shots.
bust that
Yep.
thing out
And
yet.
so I saw Kim, sales lady Kim, eyeing that. She was like, "I'm
Well, do you guys
I
have the
also have
picture
one.
in your mind of John Fink and Lucinda Kay doing the shot ski?
1,000,000%."
We're gonna have to lift up Lucinda.
It's
John
Yeah.
Fink stands at 7'2" tall, so and much taller than just shot ski, by the way.
And Lucinda's like 4'10".
I
Lu-
believe
Lucinda, what you're
how tall are you? Yeah.
5'1" and a
And a
half.
half.
Yeah,
That means
get
4'10".
Throws in the
And a
half,
half.
she
That's
snapped
right.
at us.
Yes,
All right,
yes.
we're very sorry.
Wait, are you saying that she is exaggerating by a couple inches, Fletch?
I'm
Because
saying I really wanna
somebody on
try-
this show,
I want to try Warbringer really bad.
Yeah.
So the
All right.
Warbringer smoked bourbon. This is what I'll say about it. Right off the top, it smells like we've opened a bottle of scotch. This has
Yeah.
a really peaty, smoky, like
A
low
little campfirey.
Yeah, campfire. I mean, it
Ooh.
smells to me. Yeah, that's perfect. That's perfect. What you just said. It smells like we're next to a campfire.
Yeah.
So Alfred, we've been talking about this, and prominently displayed on the bottle is a rooster standing on top of a downed rooster, and it says cock of
my bottle.
the walk. That's what it says on the
Cock
bottle.
of the walk.
Yeah, it's a big beast of bourbon.
Thank
Tell us
you.
why.
So I think everybody's too scared these days in bourbon, just like in a lot of things, but nobody wants to do anything different.
Yeah.
At Sesame Creek, we do the opposite of what everybody else does. So if they're making a nice and sweet and soft bourbon, we make a Warbringer, the cock of the walk, push the limits in terms of what a bourbon can do and taste like. So yeah, it's supposed to be, a big beast, something that challenges you, not for everybody, but definitely for some people who like it that way.
All right, let's give this sucker
Yeah,
a
let's give it
sip.
a sip.
We've been talking about it for an hour now, and I cannot wait. Let's
Cheers,
try.
boys.
Yeah, cheers,
Cheers.
cheers. Happy Friday.
Cheers.
Happy bar card.
Oh
Friday.
my gosh. Are you kidding me?
Wow.
By the way, the bar card is my favorite
What-
show in
yeah.
the whole entire world now. I feel like I'm a freshman in college at San Diego State University.
We
Sir.
did it. We did it. Hold
Mission accomplished.
on. Hold
Okay,
on.
And J.R. Tolver, Malachi Flynn, Kawhi Leonard can all step aside because Derek's my favorite Aztec for life.
That's right, baby. That's right.
So
Are
we
we-
just tried the Warbringer smoked bourbon, and we've just been handed a coffee cup that has a giant ice cube and what looks to be cold brew in it. What are we sipping on here, guys?
So Justin Watson, another former Aztec who
Yeah.
backed up Marshall Faulk in the Super Bowl greatest show on turf, and I own this company. It's called BLQK Coffee, which represents building legacies for future queens and kings. We created the company like post George Floyd movement with all that stuff happening. We
Yeah.
originally had like Kevin Garnett, Pras from the Fuji, and a bunch of guys on it, and then it trickled down to Richie Twazin, myself, and Justin. And then I recently just acquired 33% of the company. So we're just trying to blend it in with
No big
Alfred.
deal.
Alfred's
Great
No
friend of
big
the show.
deal.
Yeah.
Alfred's been, since
Coffee and bourbon.
since
It's
we've been
easy.
together, last couple of years, Alfred and I always shooting ideas and stuff like that. And he's like, let's bring the coffee down to the show and let's mix it in. So here we are with our African blend, and we have a single origin as well. But this is our cold brew.
And okay. all
And
right.
now we know you're rich, so you're really my favorite Aztec for life.
Dude, this,
Oh my goodness. You
this
got to
is
be
awesome.
kidding me.
this is absolutely
Wow.
awesome.
Can we talk about how cool these mugs are?
Yeah, no
Yep.
doubt. These
Very
these
different.
Warbringer mugs.
It's made by a disabled war veteran. So
No
Yeah.
way.
Yeah.
You got everything
do
you guys
something.
do is cool.
Yeah, no, wow.
Like,
Like the coolest people on earth.
I honestly wish like I have none of this. Like everything I do is lame. Like I get made fun of by my kids, both these guys. Like I like this. You guys got the coolest coffee mugs. Look at this cup. Did you guys even notice the cup that we're drinking the rum and cokes out of?
Yeah.
This
Oh
is
yeah.
your
Yeah.
standard party cup, but I don't want to throw it away. This is
Yeah,
gonna be
no, keep
prominent.
that.
Yeah,
Keep that.
it's gonna be
Oh,
prominently
no, yeah,
displayed.
This is a
like a-
These are not disposable, by the way.
These
These are keep at the
Wait, hold on.
house and party.
These are insulated.
They look disposable.
Yeah,
No, they're not. But
they're not. No, these are thick balls. No, I think mine got dropped. It's fine.
Well, we're actually at
It's
that
fine.
time of day where the show is over. And so, TD, I want to do a little quiz with you real quick.
Yeah, this is
Because
smart.
this has been a lot of information for a lot of
Oh
people.
God, why would you want to quiz me?
Because it has to be you.
Wait,
Yeah.
can I
TD
just say right now, the Warbringer at keganbottle.com is $30. This is an $80 bottle for $50.
We've given a lot of information today, so I want you to run through the information and give thank yous to every unique brand we've had, as well as every foundation, and especially to Derek.
Are
over
you
here.
kidding me right now? Okay. Sesame Creek joins us.
That's one.
Yeah, and we're very excited. Warbringer Mesquite Smoked Bourbon.
That's two.
We just tasted. First, we tasted the Silver Grin Vodka.
That's three.
Which was delightful. Parlor K Rum.
That's four.
Yep. We had Jonathan Tucker on.
That's five.
Yeah, Josh Barrett.
That's
on.
six.
Barnett.
Barnett. What did I say? Barnett?
Barrett.
Barrett. Oh, it was. I
The
thought
bourbon's
I
not
said
your
Barnett
approval.
because I'm super.
You said it like
fancy. He's out.
like the hat,
Yeah.
with the beret.
The beret.
There's nothing French about
I think we had Prince. We had a raspberry beret on. Yes. Did I have it?
I don't remember that one.
That did not happen. Okay, take it back.
There was this mug was made by veterans. Veterans. Kagan Bottle has 10 locations all throughout San Diego County. One in Chicago, one in Santa Barbara.
Oh, boy.
Yeah,
That makes 12.
And I love you guys. Also, hold on.
Another shout out to the coffee brand. What
Oh
was
my
that?
gosh, yes.
Oh, thank you very much. BLQK Coffee, building legacies for future queens. And
Yeah,
so
man.
just
Very nice.
BLQK.coffee.
And
Wow.
Go Aztecs, and Lainey Wilson has a butt.
She does. She does. Wow.
And,
We
and,
covered a lot.
and I brought you a gift so that
What?
you could take to your party since you texted me an hour ago
Oh
with
my
a gift
God.
back so you guys can walk in.
Oh, that's fantastic. It's
do
going to
it.
be really good.
We did it, guys.
Okay.
We did
We did it.
everything right.
Thank yous to everybody in this building right now, in the studio especially. Round of applause one more time.
Fletch is the man. Fletch is the man.
Thank you, Derek.
Wait, hold on. Wait. Angie, new producer here at iHeartRadio. Just stepped in on Bar Cart Friday. Welcome to the first edition for you. There's a shot ski behind you,
Yeah.
and it's being used before you walk out of this door.
That's right.
Maybe the ladies
Join
will
us
do the
after
shots.
party.
That's what I'm saying.
Thank you to Jared Smith. TikTok Live right after the show at Big Rich TD Fletch. We'll be there for another 30 minutes or so talking about these brands.
Doing
Make sure you
shot
get on
skis.
over. Yes, and Travis is going to do 5 shot skis. He's already said
I'm
that.
going to die today?
You'll be just in time to the meeting.
Yeah.
Make sure you're listening tomorrow. We got Aztecs football right here on San Diego Sports
Go
760. We'll see
Aztecs.
y'all next week.
You got it. The herd is next.